precious.
I guess.
Oh, we live.
And we are live. Hello, everybody.
Yay.
Welcome. This is a very special day. We have the whole gang here, except for MLS, who, he is in transit. But
Good.
Transit.
excited
Transitioning.
utterance here. He's transitioning.
Transitioning.
Allegedly. For
Allegedly.
safety.
Excited utterance here. And we have Daily Talk.
Yes.
And we have Feral Housewife. And we have Mo in the Deep End, Jamie, and the Broken Baker. Lefty is in chat. Lefty, do you want to come in? I missed you. Should have said you. Don't feel bad. And guess what? Today is. It is Get BECKt Day. I should have had my sound effects on then, but I'm not that far advanced with my whole streaming thing yet. Oh, and of course I have my lovely kitty cat Sarah. Hello. Hi. Sarah is so pliable. And today what we're going to be doing is we are going to be doing a crash course in the whole Becky saga, and it's called Get BECKt. It is the third edition of our whole Becky thing. Now, as you know, yes, we have a Feral sighting. Isn't she beautiful? Feral is gorgeous.
No.
Yay.
She's
We
real.
should really, she is real.
Did you just say no? Isn't she beautiful? No. You can't say that loud.
Yes.
No one said no. I think
Mo
that
said
was-
She
no.
said yes. She already knows where I live and possibly
know.
my taxes.
Maybe.
She's live and in person.
My
You've got no voice
taxidermy
today.
ideas. I mean,
Lefty.
How's Dave's
all the
attic
things.
today?
Lefty, what have you been doing with
It's
your
kind of
throat?
noisy.
Lefty,
Well,
is
he
your
had a
throat
busy
sore?
day yesterday.
What's been going on? You had a visitor.
Recovering from his,
Yeah, see, you gotta be careful. She is beautiful, Josie. That's true. That's the thing. It's like
Yeah.
everyone's been saying, is she real? Is she real? And I'm still I'm not convinced any of us are real, to be honest with you.
Right.
Like I live on a island that is. What's going on with you, Baker?
He's still having that stroke from earlier.
Are you having a stroke?
Oh, so
Right.
I was driving to pick up the kids, so we didn't actually have any Carla Rentala time. Is that what happened?
They haven't seated the jury yet, and
Oh, for good luck.
so I'm gonna
Oh.
jump on tomorrow at 8:45 Eastern.
Yeah. So I thought you were a little bit hopeful, wanting to cover trials today. When you're talking about that, and I was like,
There was
people say
supposed
they're
to
going
be,
to start a trial, and these things
but
never
there's
happen on the day they
supposed
say.
to be 2 trials starting today. One really bad one with SA of it. Someone had to turn that sound off.
A niece.
Yeah, an essay of a niece and then subsequently offing her. And
for
the other
the-
one was a girlfriend who was almost decapitated. So I thought those could
Almost.
be interesting. Yeah, I think internal decapitation. I don't know how you do
that's
that,
not as
but that's
What?
why I
Hasn't
wanted to
what?
follow it.
Jesus.
That's
I think
curious.
she was strangled and something was ruined in her neck, or something. I don't know. But then C-Swip sent me
Ruined.
this case, the Clara. Maybe I should know what I talk about. And it seemed kind of interesting because it was the 4th try. And but I think on Wednesday or Tuesday, the case about the guy who was shot 56 times by the police is starting. So that could be interesting too.
And he
Hey,
survived.
Christine.
Hey, Christine.
No, he didn't survive. They
Oh,
finally they got him.
after
But
50
still,
Right.
56.
Okay.
56.
How many
57 would be
officers?
excessive.
All the weirds. All the weirds. Tell you what,
you
these
know-
things that we try and follow.
Hopefully
Yeah.
they start tomorrow, and if it's a boring trial, then I can pick one of the others up. But
Yeah.
I just want to see the drying paint expert.
Yeah,
The trying.
because there's nothing else going on in the world. We'll just follow drying paint. Sherwin Williams for the win.
like fourth time, they really, I mean, two times, the first two times.
I mean, she
it
was
hung jury.
convicted once.
Well,
Yeah, two
Yeah.
times hung jury,
Final.
once conviction.
Third
'cause of
time's a
the
charm.
guy, and it's like, okay, now we're going for number 4 because of some
Yeah.
guy's paint drying expertise. He was like giving like his opinion that like it had to be this. They poured it on her versus it was splat, whatever.
Yeah.
Like
Do you
filled.
know how
Yeah.
many variables there are?
No,
Room
sure.
temperature, humidity, wind, with the AC on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
it's
maybe he sat in an office during the weekend and
Flipping
spilled.
paint around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Terry.
So,
yeah,
How's it
we
going?
really haven't taken into account that he might have had his whole office decked out. He might
Yeah,
have
maybe
really
he painted his office that weekend.
true. His wife had been on his ass for like a whole week and stuff.
The whole week.
Thanks, kitten.
Mm,
I just wanted to
she was
say hi
probably
to
on his
Thanks,
ass for
kitten.
years.
Because
Yeah.
Thanks Kitten has been really into this case as well. There's a few people I want to give a shout out to. Is Murph here? Murph, if you're here, put a comment in. So Angst Kitten, Murph, Wesley. Was Wesley? No, Wesley's here somewhere.
Yes,
Somewhere.
I saw him.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
He was,
Because there's a
he was
few people
good.
who've been really helpful in the Discord and putting lots of great comments in about what should be in this live. So everyone who has been helpful with this. Also, Sal, I've got to say, your comments on Twitter have been funny.
Which ones?
Oh, I'm not going to say which ones because I don't
Okay.
want to out you publicly.
You can't read them out loud.
I could, but
We're just
let's
going
not.
to
Email.
do screenshots.
Yeah, look, there's lots of things I could. I have got some screenshots from Twitter, but not from people who are actually here.
Yeah.
Hey, Wes, how's it going? Where's Jane? How are you? Good to see you, my fellow Aussie. And yeah, you're right. I love the collective knowledge of the internet. It's very good. And Wesley, Murph,
Jensen.
Murph is really engaged with the AM case. And honestly, when Murph really gets into something, she is just a powerhouse. Like she digs so much into a case when she's into it. And I've been talking on the DMs to her, and she's really helped me get some different
Oh,
insight
yes.
into this. So I really have to thank her, and I hope she shows up shortly.
Yeah, can we put Christine's link in the chat and help her get some stubs?
Yeah, let's get some stubs for
Yeah, help her get some stubs.
for Christine. We all need stubs. I need 1,000, for goodness sake. So yeah.
I thought Australia was in the program. Australia, South Korea, England, America.
No, we're with you. Unfortunately, Baker, we're in the 1,000 club. So
Well,
yeah.
I can trade some watch hours for some subs.
I know. That'd
Oh
be
look,
awesome.
if we could trade,
They need to make that a thing.
I know.
Yeah.
we should be able to trade. That would be fantastic. All right, let's
I
get
think,
into this because there's lots. There is
Yeah.
lots. So for those who have not been following the whole Becky thing, like
That
just
would be
strap
me.
yourselves in, guys, because if you thought that Murdaugh, the whole trial was full of innuendo and just salaciousness, this whole Becky thing is just like worse. So it's tea time for Miss Becky, and it's only just started. And I'm not going to take you through absolutely everything. I'm just going to give you a quick overview, and then we're going to get into where we are right now. Not sure, like Mo, Baker, how much of it you've had a chance to have a look at just yet, because I know you've had your eye on some other cases and things going on in your own little parts of
I've done a cursory
What?
look, basically just that she ghost wrote a book, or she kind of co-wrote a book, which I thought was sus on the beginning. I don't
Yeah.
like hangers on who profit
but
from
there's
writing
so
a
much.
book.
There's so much. The book is one thing. Then the sharing the cards for the journalist to the jury, going with the
Yeah.
jury on a plane to New York. There's so many
Okay, yeah,
kind of
that's
things.
So much stuff.
Yeah.
okay. Well, then that becomes. I'm surprised she hasn't been on anyone's radar prior to this, prior to the defense bringing it up. I'm surprised that
I
someone
think
from the
they-
courthouse didn't say, "This looks really, really sus, ma'am. You're
Well,
gonna
the
make us look."
defense did
really
have
bad."
some weird feelings about it from her, but none of the jurors would talk.
Yeah.
Right.
They
And
tried.
not up until
Yeah,
just now.
Not
until
until the
the-
book was released and they got pissed off.
And that's what I thought it was too. It was just like they were investigating it, and I knew something was going to come out for sure. I figured because
Yeah,
it felt really
It's South Carolina.
Yeah.
exactly. Right. So here she is, Becky Hill. And she is the Colleton County, that's South Carolina, clerk of court at the time of Alex Murdaugh's trial for the double
An
murder of
elected
wife.
position, by the way.
It's an elected position. So it's a double murder of wife Mags and son Pawpaw. January to March 2023. So it was actually March when the guilty verdict came through. So it took all that time. It was a long trial. And I put her in this lovely frame because, you know, that's kind of like the frames in the courthouse, which is a pretty courthouse.
She does
And-
look like she has a lot of those frames and a lot of those creepy, like Hummel dolls everywhere.
Yes.
Hummel dolls.
Yes.
Not if
Exactly.
you collect Hummel dolls, I don't mean to disparage you. I find them personally creepy. You may love them.
That's
is
what
my
Jamie's
opinion.
gonna put on her shelves.
And her grave.
Dolls creep me out.
Hi, Becky. Yeah.
Now I'm getting mad
Why?
because they're rolling out the 503,000, and I don't know if I get the country code right, but SV that couldn't be Sweden, because if Sweden gets it and Denmark doesn't, then
He's getting all mad.
Oh, that
then
would
it's
be epic.
racism. But
They're probably gonna do it right when you get 1,000 subs.
Right. Then
Yeah.
they'll drop it
Yeah.
and be like, oh,
Just-
no,
sorry.
then they're gonna raise it for Danish people.
Oh, we're still talking about that. Okay, right.
We will all strike, Baker, if
All right. So now the clerk of court duties include taking care of jurors' logistical requirements, like where to go, times to turn up, meals, etc., and administering oaths to witnesses. So things like that, right? There she is, and I put a nice, pretty photo of her into that frame for this one.
Sure.
Okay, yeah. But the clerk of court duties do not include discussing any aspect of the trial with jurors at any time at all, right? So you're not supposed to be chatting with them about the actual trial.
Anything.
No.
Huh.
And she's not supposed to be telling jurors how long they should take to deliberate, for example, right? So she shouldn't be saying to them, okay, this shouldn't take long.
Or threatening them.
No, she shouldn't be doing
Or-
stuff like that.
Trying to get them to, or tell them they can't go and have a smoke when they're addicted to smoking.
No.
And didn't she make up an entire Facebook page and ex-husband shenanigans?
Yeah.
That
get
is the
someone who is-
allegation.
The allegation.
Did she make it up?
I don't
Or
know.
was it just
She
somebody
found
whose
one.
name was the same?
I think it was she found one whose name was the same and used it.
No, she
Oh.
claims that she saw a post and on one day, and then the next day it was deleted, and instead there was put up "The devil made me do it" post. But the devil
Yeah.
made me do it post was 3 days before the day she saw the post. So
Right.
she was just lying.
Yeah.
And she conveniently didn't take a screenshot.
Yeah, and that juror was dismissed.
Yeah, and it wasn't even
eggs
the
lady.
same guy's page. It was a
No.
totally like not his page. So
Oh, and I love she basically doxes the egg lady juror in her book, saying she lives or she owns a monkey farm in
Oh,
this area.
yeah, that
monkey farm?
definitely is a doxing.
I mean, maybe there's a lot of monkey farms, but
in South Carolina,
Yeah.
all 18 of them. You pass one, you it's like the CVS and Walgreens kind of thing. They're right across from each other. It's the emu farm and the
yeah.
monkey
Oh,
farms.
don't mention the emus when EU is here.
Oh,
No,
I'm
no,
sorry.
it's okay. I don't like emus.
Oh,
well,
It's
then
okay,
there you
Christine.
go.
I don't know what you say, Christine. It's cool. I know you want to live stream with us one day. It's cool.
Yeah.
All good.
Yeah,
We love
I
you.
honestly, Christine, I barely remember one day to the next.
Same. Yeah. It all just melds into one another. Okay. Yeah. Thierry, you're correct. They couldn't find the original post. It just
No, but
disappeared.
yeah, and they went to
Weird.
the ex-husband and got
Right.
his Facebook history, and he never
Hmm.
posted that "Devil Made Me Do It" post.
Nope.
So
Just
it's just
yeah.
lies upon lies and lies upon lies.
Funny that.
Okay, so
Mm.
I guess my question would be, has she acted this way with other trials? I mean, this puts into
Yeah, that's a
serious
good
jeopardy
question.
every single other trial. I mean, who else does she have an axe to grind?
Maybe she's
mean,
just
I underst
gossipy and wants to influence jurors.
Well,
Yeah, but
yeah.
still, you're not allowed to do it. And then
No, I know. I'm just saying it's possible that's who she is, and she's tampered with every single trial since 2021.
But
Or-
I mean, this could be major. I mean, imagine you're an ex-husband or something, or your son, stood her up on prom night
Yeah.
and suddenly he's being investigated for, drug running or something.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't need to, this will be an open and shut case. He's a bad guy. You might hear evidence, exculpatory evidence, but that's all smoke and mirrors. You just listen to me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We'll
Yes,
get you the good
exactly.
Chinese food. This is terrifying.
It's very terrifying. It's stupid, is what it is, and she's still working there.
Yeah.
How is she not on paid leave? I mean, it's the same with that kissing cop guy with again, I don't really care that he was doing the smexy times in the back of a cop car. I care that he
I know, I'm
was,
a little jealous.
well, I
Well, then
care
again, I
that he
saw
was
the woman. Never mind.
I care that he continued to pick like high schools where he was going to do this when there's all sorts of rural roads that he should know as a cop. But
Yeah.
I also care that he had, child abuse allegations where he knocked a child out. Like, again, what is wrong with people?
I know.
hey,
All right.
Becky, you're back.
How's it
Well,
going?
let's get into the case.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yep.
Getting the crew together is never a good idea because we derail each other all the time.
All the time.
Yes, that's
and
all
I
right. That's
have
what I'm here
about
for.
5 more minutes, so I will let you go.
That's cool. That's cool. All
All
right. So, her duties also don't include
Hi, Iris.
having multiple private conversations with individual jurors, because that's also the allegation. She was just taking jurors aside, well, in particular, specific jurors aside, and having 10-minute conversations about goodness knows what. And also, her duties don't include writing a book detailing how we came up with the right decision. Yeah. So there we go. Those are certainly not duties of the clerk of court. Moving on. Now, allegedly. Obviously, they're all just allegedly. We're not going to say she definitely did that, but there are certain affidavits getting about. Now, well, that's what these guys say. Now, people like to call these guys Griff and Poot because, no one likes Griff and Poot, do they? All right,
I
there's
do.
Griff on the left. I think they're fine. Griff and Poot are,
I mean, yeah.
they're
I think
good
I don't agree
lawyers.
with their politics, but
So.
I don't
They're
hold it
good lawyers.
against them for being liberals.
Okay, so this I'm going to
I
hand
mean,
over to Mr. Daly for a second, and he's going to play the video which this Griff and Poot are talking.
Oh, why are they on with Snuffleupagus? He's still alive?
yes.
We are joined now by Alec Murdaugh's attorneys Dick Harpootlian and Jim Griffin. Thank you both for joining us this morning. Mr. Griffin, let me begin with you. You said yesterday you first heard these allegations through a whisper campaign. What does that mean exactly?
Well, George, soon after the trial, actually, as soon as the verdict was rendered, we had gotten, some indication from folks in the courtroom that there was something untoward that had happened in the jury room. We didn't know exactly what. And we went on, a campaign to try to find
Becky
out
made
what.
a move on
And
Alex.
we were met with silence. And eventually, though, and we think it was the impetus was
Yeah,
Becky Hill's book that opened the door for us to get information from the jury that we were able to file in the court here yesterday.
So, Mr. Arpulian, walk us through these allegations right now and why you think they require a new trial.
Well, the allegations are that the clerk of court, we have sworn affidavits and interviews, sworn affidavits from 2 jurors and interviews with other jurors indicate that the clerk of court went into the jury room prior to us presenting our case, saying, don't be confused, don't be persuaded. When Alec Murdaugh was testifying, don't believe him. And that, I mean, under just every case you can read is enough to give us a new trial. You don't even have to show they listened to it or that it made any difference. That kind of intrusion into the sanctity of the jury room is an automatic new trial.
Mr. Griffin, is there any reason you didn't reach out directly to Rebecca?
Well, we went to
I don't
the
get
jurors
that.
who
Why-
gave
why
us
would
the
they?
Why would
information,
you?
And
Yeah.
we got,
Because
sworn
she's not
testimony
going to
from the
lie
jurors.
directly to their
you know,
face.
Right, it's-
Yeah.
We did not reach out to her. We knew that she had a lawyer related to other matters, and so, we went forward with the information that we had to file it in court.
What did Alec Murdaugh say when you gave him this news?
I met with Alec in person, showed him the affidavits, and I can tell you that he's a lawyer, been a lawyer for a long time. He was startled, he was shaking, he was shocked, and he understood the significance of it, and he thanked Dick and I for beating the roads of Colleton County to get this information.
Sorry.
And Mr. Arpulian, why do you think a new
thanks
trial is
Dick
going to
for
really
beating?
make any difference? Mr. Murdaugh admitted on the stand that he lied to the police about his alibi. Why couldn't
So?
he get exonerated a second time around?
Well,
Why do you
there's
think
many
it's going to make a
factors,
difference? That's a dumb
but,
question.
The first factor is that the jury heard 2.5 weeks of the financial fraud before we ever
Yep.
got to the murder trial. And I think it's important to understand that if you look at the forensics, if you look at the government's case, there's no way forensically he could have committed these murders. But George, I
That's
want to say
interesting.
one thing before we move on to that, and that is this. The 2 jurors that gave us affidavits
Okay,
hired a lawyer,
this is
Joe
important.
McCullough, before they would talk to us and before they gave us the affidavits. The other jurors out there are on a group text, and we are reasonably informed that last week when these allegations began to surface, one of the jurors said, quote, "Who's talking?" I'm concerned that these jurors don't understand the import of what's getting ready to happen. They need to get lawyers. They need to understand they may have some exposure, and they need to be careful before they start talking to the FBI or SLED or even us.
You
So
think that
this is
I'm not
but he's
following that
threatening
exactly.
them.
You think the jurors violated the law?
I think there could be, if they could be accused of violating the law, I think that if I were them, I'd want a lawyer, just like the 2 jurors that we talked to, hired Joe McCullough to be their lawyer so that he screened what we asked them so there'd be no problem with exposure for them.
And you both still believe that Alec Murdaugh did not kill his wife and son?
Absolutely.
100%.
Thank
Stupid
you guys for joining
question.
us. Hi,
No,
everyone.
No, we're
he's
pretty
also
sure now.
guilty. We just like taking his money that he doesn't have anymore.
Thank
We
you,
are joined
darling.
now by
Okay,
Alec Murdaugh's attorneys Dick Harpootlian and Jim Griffin. Thank you both
what's
for joining
going
us.
on?
This
Stop it,
one
stop it.
removed it.
You just okay. Yeah, no, sorry, that was me, and
Oh, was
I
it?
did that, and I need to now add my other thing
I'll queue up
back.
the second one.
Thank you very much.
But
And
They don't really even. What bothers me too is like just the questioning of some of these interviews. They're like asking the stupidest questions.
Right.
Yeah.
Why didn't you talk to her directly?
Yeah,
Gee, I wonder.
because she's gonna tell me the truth. Okay,
Yeah.
just like that stupid her book writer or whatever that's going
Yeah.
around doing interviews, and he's like, "Well, she told me that." Well, of course she did. What's she gonna say?
Well, he doesn't
Yeah.
have much
Right.
liability, but he's throwing her under the bus.
Well,
But
I'm
again,
saying, like,
if they talk to her, if they go talk to her and say, "Oh, Miss Becky, we heard a rumor that you broke the law."
Right.
Does anyone remember a small case Daly covered with a biker?
Oh
who,
yeah, Edgecombe.
self-defended. How did it go with the what's her name? The not court reporter, the intern who went and talked to one
Oh,
of the
yeah.
witnesses.
Oh, that's right.
And
Oh yeah.
just to when we have that she's not an intern. She's something else. A
Investigator.
paralegal.
She was paralegal.
Yeah, and if she made herself a witness by downloading something off the Facebooks,
Yes.
is Miss Becky
Well,
not a witness because she claims something was on the Facebook?
No, she's a witness now. The judge is a
well,
witness
she's.
now.
I mean, she's
Everyone is a
independent
witness
now,
now.
but she should be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
again, I hate going on X just because X is a stupid name, but also because what we strive for. I know Mo and I talked about it earlier. I know Sal, EU, you probably has the same approach to cases. Even Miss Becky is innocent.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Yes.
smoke.
Yeah, absolutely.
There could be a lot of fire, but we have to remember that everyone has their day in court, but you can't tamper with the jury. We are specifically told in Denmark you can't talk to anybody.
Right.
When we're leaving the courtroom, we'll let out of another door so we don't go out to where the families or the people could be, because our trials are lesser trials, so they're not put directly in prison in most of them. But we can't go past them and talk to them about, hey, here I got you today, buddy, or hey, I let you free because this and that. We can't do that. We're not allowed to talk to people in the courtroom, and I'm not allowed to talk about the sentencing till after 14 days, because you have 14 days to appeal your trial. So we are told this stuff, and she is a elected official in the court. She must know you can't talk to them. You can say, oh yeah, you can go smoke in that room. The toilet's over there. Do you want tuna for lunch? You can't go in and say, hey, please come in here. Oh, by the way, what are you going to vote? That's my biggest problem. And that should be enough to get him a new trial. That she has been talking about that. And this the sentence from the book about we made the right decision. She self-inserts her.
There's more than one sentence.
Yeah, but that we made the right. So she was part of it. Yeah. And that's my biggest problem. The word we.
Yeah. I know.
She could say, I felt like after watching the trial, they made the right decision.
They. She should have said they a lot.
Yeah.
Enough of that. Hi, you're new. I've not seen you before.
I've been here before.
No, not you. Enough of that.
Yeah,
How's it going?
Been around. She's been around.
Oh, hi. Well, welcome.
Jamie, that's
very
not
true
nice to
disgrace.
say about a
Amazing
girl.
disgrace.
What were you going to say, Mo?
Well, I guess I don't understand the writing the book thing. I don't get inserting yourself. It just it seems
She wanted that like
Do you all have a manuscript?
Fame
in?
and money, Mo.
yeah, I
Right,
get
like
it.
what court reporter or whatever she was she a reporter?
She's a clerk. Like
the
I
clerk.
mean, the O.J. Simpson clerk didn't write. I mean, Marsha Clark wrote a book.
One of them. Right. It's always the attorneys or maybe a judge or
Not even a judge unless they retire.
you know who I'd like to see write a book is Officer Beefy from Daryl Brooks's case.
Yeah. That would be interesting.
Yeah. But like I said last Wednesday, I don't get the whole when she tried to alter the contract, she wanted to make money off her elected office.
Yeah.
And I talked a bit with Dave about it, if you're allowed to do that. And I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to make money peddling your legal, your elected office. Kind of like someone who's got dementia.
That's in the her letter from the Ethics Commission. However, we'll dig into that a little bit later. She didn't really ask exactly she didn't tell them exactly what she was planning when it came to writing the book. Yeah.
She never said anything about what she was going to do, but still the part, and I don't care if she told the ethics committee that she liked to dance naked and draw names on herself like Amaranth. I don't care. But I'm pretty sure in the US, you have a law against making money by peddling your elected office. It's kind of like there's a big hoo-ha on the right about a guy with dementia who might have used his position to get his son a bit of money. And there's no difference if you're the lowest court clerk or you're the highest office. You're not allowed to peddle public influence in an
You're not
elected
supposed
office.
to be allowed, but
In theory.
you'll notice that there's a lot of Romney Juniors and Pelosi Juniors on boards of companies that they have no business running.
Well,
So,
they have the skills.
well,
Yeah.
yeah, they're not degenerates with like flipper toes or anything.
Murph, how's it
Yeah.
going?
Allegedly.
Welcome.
We
So good
miss
to
you.
have
Murph,
you
we were
here.
talking about you earlier.
We were talking about you earlier. In fact, we're just about to get to something I was going to attribute to you. Back up a bit. This, actually, we have two issues, and I need to thank you, Murph, for really crystallizing this in my mind. And you pointed out that a lot of the channels aren't really talking about the fact that, like, really, there's these two things that are going on, and they're quite separate, really. The two issues are that we have a potential retrial for Alex Murdaugh, but we've also got Becky's book, and they're actually two issues that are likely to cause two separate lots of litigation. Well, obviously, the retrial for AM is litigation in itself. Ooh, what's that?
Sell.
Shit.
It's
Did you
always
burn your
something.
ribs in
Burning
the air
down?
fryer?
Oh, my fire. I took my fire alarm down because it was chirping. I had to replace the battery. I haven't put it back up, and my cat's just hit the button. I'm gonna go check on it.
It's all right. It's all right.
Oh no, the cats are burning down the house.
Yeah. Okay, he's gone.
Oh,
Okay,
no.
so we've got the litigation that's obviously going to happen and it's in process regarding the retrial for AM. But then we've got Becky's book, and we'll dig into that in a minute. But she could absolutely be in trouble with the law regarding what she's done with the book. As we were just alluding to a moment ago, you guys were chatting about, is it really legal what she's done? I don't know. Sorry, what were you going to say?
I said, what do you mean? What's legal? Writing a
What
book?
is it? Well, not just writing a book, but is it okay
Sorry
for
about
her to have used her position
Okay, Junior.
to have, or has she tampered with evidence? Sorry, not evidence, with the jury. Has she profited from her position as an elected official? Has she betrayed the public, betrayed her oath to the justice system? And yeah, is there something that she can actually be charged with? Is she going to jail? Who knows? So there's these two separate things, and one does not necessarily affect the other, though they're intertwined.
Yeah, because to be honest, with you, in my opinion, the book doesn't even matter.
Well, there's
In
two,
everything, because it's, did she tamper with this jury? You know,
yeah, but for her that could be a problem, because one thing is, for Alex Murdaugh, it's really important they find that she tampered with the jury, because that would
well, yeah.
be a retrial. But for her sake, the book she's writing takes you behind the scenes. I'm not allowed to talk about how we discuss things in the sentencing room where we said. I can't tell you what the judge said, what I said, what the other guy said. She goes into discussions behind the scene, and you're not allowed, because there is a level of confidentiality. She could have talked about everything that happens in court. That's not a problem. The problem is she talks about personal behind the scene conversations.
Yes.
And that's a big problem for her. For
Yes.
Murdaugh, it doesn't matter, other than they need to figure out that she tampered with the jury.
Absolutely.
It
So
shows
yeah,
her
what Murph said.
propensity
Just
to
talking to them
blur
is
the
tampering
line.
with them.
Yeah.
But Like, what
She
about all
doesn't
these
have
books
to.
that get written about like other things too? Because like, what did the lawyer from the Jody trial wrote about? You
But
know,
he also faced consequences too for that.
The
Didn't he
defense lawyer?
get disbarred?
He
Both
was
of them.
disbarred. Well,
It's
the
really
what, did he get
interesting.
disbarred
prosecutor,
because of the book or because of
no,
other?
the prosecutor was disbarred because he's a scumbag
Yeah.
who
This is
did a bunch
there's
of
some
He
really
was
interesting
he
things coming up in chat, guys.
voluntarily.
Yeah, and as
voluntarily
MG put,
resigned.
as MG Law puts it, it doesn't matter whatever she talked with them. It's whether she had improper communications, and everything other than there's the toilet. Please be back at 1:30.
Right.
Do you
What
want
do
a
you want
tuna
for
sandwich?
lunch? Yeah.
Everything other than that, and bringing a juror alone into a room, interrogating a
Yeah.
juror, she has nothing to do with questioning a juror, especially asking a juror, "What are you gonna vote?" Because, and I know some people on X said, "Well, no one said they were forced to vote in a different in a specific way." No. When I came back from my deployment, we were 400 guys sitting in an auditorium asking, "Do anyone wants to see the psychologist?" No one is going to do that in a room with 400 guys. It's the same sitting in a courtroom and saying, "Yeah, well, I didn't really want to vote this way because everyone thought that this is the easy way out." And the shit about threatening them with no smoke breaks, you had to go to a hotel if you don't get finished by 11. That's, in my opinion, improper communication because the court hadn't decided that. And if the judge didn't say it, it doesn't. It's not a rule because she's just a stupid biatch who is elected to open the door and say, "Hi, the toilet is over there. Can I get you a tuna sandwich?"
How do
She
you
has
really feel,
nothing.
Becca?
She has nothing to do with the investigation.
So there's some really interesting things coming up in chat at the moment. So yeah, the
I'm going
Ethics
to jump
Commission
off
could go
because
after her.
I'm
Yeah,
going to
probably
jump
me
off.
That's
too
fine.
because I've got to make
That-
dinner. Apparently, people
That's
want to
fine.
eat and stuff.
Every
Oh well,
day.
that happens. Damn
I got
children.
And I'm sorry, it's me, Josie. I just had to get it out before I left. And everyone, go follow MG Law. He has a great channel.
Yes.
Yeah, MJ, do you want to come on? I'll send you a link. Are you busy right now? You're welcome
I
to.
will be back, at 7, guys. I'm
Yes,
doing
come back.
newsy
It
news.
might change the verdict if he gets a fair trial, one without all the extra stuff that doesn't mean anything.
Yep.
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 For his
tired about it.
retrial, it doesn't matter what she said, did, or something. It's just he can get a second chance. That's everything he wants. And again, then I would really hope they keep all the financial shit out of it because it
Yeah,
was a
I think
7-week trial with six weeks of financial problems in a murder case. Rand over. Bye. Love you all. See you later.
Bye, Becca. Thanks for coming on.
Bye.
Much appreciated. Great to see
And
you.
bye, guys. I'm gonna
And bye,
leave
Mel.
now.
Bye.
I
Yep.
will see you guys later at 7 with
Yes.
newsy news. Gonna try out an evening stream. It is
Yay.
fluffy news. It is not news of like hard hitting news. It's like mornings with Mo, stories, my stuff. Because we are supposed to be getting, in theory, the Carla Rentala case in the morning. So I won't be able to do mornings with Mo since we're going to have a court case. I am going to try to record several stories for mornings with Mo and have them up ready to go at mornings with Mo time. So you guys will have that in the morning, but I will be doing the court case with Baker in theory. In theory, all of that is going to go, but at 7, I will be here, possibly with an adult beverage. We don't know. But I will be here. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye, Mo. See you.
See you.
Bye.
Thank you for having me. I will be
Thank
back
you, Mo.
more
Come back
online-ish.
sometime soon. Okay. Hi, I'm Bronze. Alrighty. I need you to remod me. What happened to your mods?
He had to make a different account.
Oh, okay. Right, yeah. Just give me a sec. I'm kind of got a lot going on right now, but yeah, we'll do. Okay. So MG, did you say you wanted to come on or not? Tell me if you do.
He did.
I'll send you a link. Yeah, he did?
I said, I don't think he said anything yet.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
All right. Let's
hard
move
to
on.
get.
I was
for now.
watching for you.
Okay. All right. Sweet. Okay. So 2 issues. Those are our issues at the moment. Oh, Murdaugh, aren't you nice? Lefty best, whatever.
Oh, he is, isn't he? Yeah.
Okay. He's really trying. I have noticed. He's pushing all the buttons and he's sending all the linky links and things.
Because
He's doing his best.
little
Carol made him.
for him. For all of
Right?
us.
Cool. I know, right? It's like I put him on the spot the other day and told him he would put all these links up, and he was like, "What? Okay, you want me to work?"
That's how I feel.
Yes. Okay, let's go. So now let's look at the first of the 2 issues. So the potential retrial for Alex. Now, based on the defense motion and the juror affidavits, it seems very likely, actually, that he's probably going to get this retrial. Can you imagine going back through all that again? Dear me, like that was
Maybe with a
intense.
real judge, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, I
It,
mean,
it might be, yeah.
I'll allow it.
I'll allow it. Let it in. Bring the joke.
Bring it in.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it later after we've already showed it to the jury, and then I'll
Right.
I'll make a ruling after we
God.
show it to the jury.
God, it's an interesting question because a minute ago, in that interview, Harpoolia was talking about how all those financial crimes were allowed in, and there was 2 weeks of that basically.
Yeah.
And does that mean that
A
could
new-
not be allowed in the
A
second
new
time?
judge could rule differently if they want.
Exactly.
Well, that would be
it should
fantastic,
be.
wouldn't it?
And they
Yeah.
should.
Yeah.
Yeah. They should, because that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
It sh-
Yeah.
know.
It would be amazing if we could have a trial actually about the murders.
Yeah.
Focus on the evidence that you have for these murders, not the money stuff to make them look like
Show
a
me
bad
your
person.
timeline.
Yeah.
What
that
What
would
a
be
novel
good.
idea.
Yep.
Yeah, wouldn't that be good? Okay, so since AM's attorneys, Jim Griffin and Dick Harpoolian, announced the motion last week, they've been widely criticised for harassing jurors themselves.
Yeah.
Obviously, that was going to happen, wasn't it?
course.
Yes, of course. So, word on the streets. Oh, I love doing these. All right, so, okay, I'm going to get Sal's voice out now. Sal, you can read these. This is
Yeah.
fun.
Lawyers are not people who follow the law. They are simply people who receive high fees from their clients and compete to win or lose in court.
Oh my
It's
God.
Robert Morton 3000 4 days ago. It's the stuttering for me. Ha 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 ha. Can't even get their own lies straight.
What are you talking about, Robert 3000?
Run Rough or Run the Best in the World 4 days ago edited this. He's still guilty, and a retrial will only prove that he's even more guilty than before.
No, you can't.
You get more guilty.
How do you get more?
How can you be more guilty?
This would be embarrassing for the clerk if she was
How does that
tampering,
work?
though.
Oh my God. Thank you for
Lol.
telling me it was edited 4 days ago. I really.
Welcome.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
4
yeah.
likes.
There was 4 likes. There's more.
Otter Girl 4346 4 days ago.
you.
Poot is advising the jurors to retain attorneys and not to say anything, but he sure is making the rounds this morning. Sorry, but I couldn't believe Poot if I met him on the street. He just comes across as conniving. 4 likes.
God.
A. Walker 4 days ago. These attorneys should come up with new evidence to exonerate their client. Why isn't there talk of suspect / or suspects? I know the burden of proof is on the state, but what's the point of a new trial if his attorneys do not have irrefutable proof that Murdaugh didn't commit the murders? Are they hoping to get him
What are
off
you
on
talking
a
about?
technicality?
That's
He has
called
to
burden
solve the
shifting,
crime.
You idiot.
Solve the crime, and then you can get out.
Well,
Yeah,
it's just like
sure.
so stupid when they say like, why aren't they talking to other suspects? I know the burden of proof isn't on the state, but
Clearly, you don't.
no, clearly you don't. Then that's just end it there. Not, but he needs to solve his own crime.
Kelly
dear.
Custom Artistry 55424 days ago. Of course, they're advocating for more lawyers, LOL, but I agree. You can't trust them.
What are you talking about? Sorry, I get these EU. You know, get me fired up with these.
Thank you. That was the point.
Okay,
That was the point. I do enjoy them. They're good fun.
they are funny.
And thank you, Sal, for the voice. I appreciate it.
Yeah, with Sal's dramatic voice.
So obviously, Miss Becky is in deep doo doo. There she is in the doo doo. But what about Dick's not so subtle message to the other jurors? You remember
I
a
thought that was
moment
Dick.
ago?
I read that as Dick, not so subtle massage.
No, it's a message.
Okay.
Goodness me. So this is what he said. He said, "We are reasonably informed that last week, when these allegations began to surface, one of the jurors said, quote, 'Who's talking?' Remember he said that in that interview a minute ago?
Yeah.
I'm concerned that these jurors don't understand the import of what's getting ready to happen. They need to get lawyers, right?" So, and that's what those comments that you were just reading out was referring to. Like, remember how the last one said, of course they're advocating for more lawyers. Like, I don't trust any of them. I don't trust anything that Poot would say.
This
And,
is actually good advice for the jury.
It's good advice.
He's not trying to be sneaky. He's not. Well, I don't even know if they have legal liability.
Well, here's the thing, though. He's saying that there was a group chat.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then
They
conspiracy
had like a group chat.
after the
Yeah.
fact.
The jurors have a group chat and they're talking.
All of them?
And yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. The jurors have a group chat and one of them said, "Who's talking?" As in, like, who's talking about what happened? Right? So,
Why are they still talking to each other?
yeah, good question.
Not 8
Right.
months, 9 months later? I mean, dude.
Yeah, well, there's a reason that they're still talking to each other because some shit went down, clearly.
Yeah.
Right? And I think also they've been bitching about, well, and this is just me speculating, but maybe they've been bitching about this whole Becky thing, right? Because a few of them clearly were annoyed enough to speak to Jim and Dick, right? And annoyed enough because of the fact that, like, Jim Griffin and Dick Harpootlian had been trying to speak to them, and what they said was that they'd been hitting a wall of silence about it, right?
Yeah.
And then when the book actually came out, a few of them caved and went, you know what? Stop her. This is stupid. Right? I've had enough of this. Actually, we were holdouts and we were annoyed by that point. And this is the stuff that happened. And I'm willing to actually speak to you about it. And sure, we'll sign affidavits.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so the group chat was talking about it. And also I'm imagining that the group chat actually started to talk about that. And there was probably a message around that time that from one of them that said, "Who's talking?" Right. So what Dick Harpootlian is saying in this interview is that he knows about this and that the jurors don't understand how important this is.
Yeah.
Right. And they need to lawyer up. Right. And I get it that people in the general public are like, well, who would want to be on a jury if you could get yourself in this kind of trouble? Right.
Well, it never happens.
It doesn't usually happen, but it's not. But you know what? This is Becky's fault. This is not their fault. Right. Like,
yeah, I don't blame them nearly as much as Becky.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Murph. Who's talking implies that they knew that they did something wrong.
It could just be they're asking which one of you are talking innocently.
It could be innocent. It could be
More than likely, no.
We
But
don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, all of this sounds really bad, but it's just
Yeah.
to protect them, and that's what Dick Harpootlian is saying.
Yeah.
He went on to say in the interview that it's just about keeping them protected. Like it's
above
just
board,
a matter, yeah, and from exposure.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's not bad advice.
No, I would.
Yeah, this is so backwards. The defense wants jurors to
Not
come
Eric.
forward. The attorneys are not
I
a threat, but to protect them. That's exactly what I just said, Murph. Yeah, like it's like you and I had the same brain, except you're a bit smarter than me, Murph. I think.
No,
Yeah.
but it's never a bad thing to get a lawyer, especially once this came out and you knew this was going down. If I was a juror on that trial, I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna go
Yeah.
talk to a lawyer, just in
Yeah,
case.
exactly.
I'll call
Exactly.
Dave.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Dave.
All right. So, enter this dude.
This guy.
Dun-dun.
Are you gonna need me to play the video in the next
Uh,
2 minutes?
Yes. So, enter this
Okay.
dude. So, he's a fierce fighter for justice and proponent for the state's case against Murdaugh. So, he announced he is representing 2 jurors pro bono, and he's a lovely fella. Look at him, Eric Bland. Nice name too,
Yep.
Eric Bland.
He is so.
Now, I hadn't actually heard of him until he popped out, and then I realized who he was. So he was representing one of
the kid who fell, or the
kid who
woman
fell.
who fell. Her kid.
Oh, I know, Satterfield.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the Satterfield family,
Yeah.
as in, because the woman who fell in the house of Murdaugh, as in the housekeeper,
Yeah.
right? And then supposedly Alec stole their money.
Yeah. Stole the kids' money.
Stole the kids' money. Yep. Okay. And so he was, so he's already been in opposition to the Murdaughs and Alex Murdaugh in a financial crimes case, correct?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So he's already got a conflict of interest.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Right. Yeah. Okay. So this is. Oh, really? Half Irish? Really? Vices went off on Bland this morning, did he? Well, on Twitter, or I wonder. I did see that Branca did. Branca's already been off on him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a few people have. And I mean, it's a conflict of interest. There's no question about it. But people generally are like, well done, Eric. Aren't you lovely? Aren't you wonderful? Because he is representing the jurors pro bono. Isn't that so nice of you? So yeah, what a lovely person he is. So anyway, let's have a look at him doing an interview with who? Is it Chris Como?
Cuomo.
Cuomo.
Yeah.
Cuomo. Over to you, Mr. Sal.
Now another exclusive, and on a Friday night, no less. Earlier in the week, Alec Murdaugh's lawyers were on this show demanding a new trial for their client. Why? Because they say the jury had been tampered with, coerced by a county clerk. They told us they had sworn affidavits from these jurors that the county clerk, Rebecca Hill, told them how to vote when they were deliberating. Here's their argument.
What we did not take into account is that the clerk of court, according to the testimony, would go into the jury room and tell this jury, don't be fooled by his testimony. That is outrageous if true, honestly.
Yeah.
If true. The lawyer who previously represented Murdaugh's financial victims is now involved. And he says he's representing other members of this jury, and they say the claims you just heard are completely false. Eric Bland joins us
Mm.
now. Counselor, good to see you again.
He's such a
Good to see you, Chris.
D-bag.
So first, let's take care of the two things true at once possibility, which is the jurors that Murdaugh's attorneys have say they were coerced, but they are different jurors than the ones you're representing who didn't know those jurors, so they're not aware of the claims. Could that be the case here?
Well, no, I don't think so. I think just because you say it over and over again and you may say it loud doesn't make it true. I don't believe anybody has said to date, even those jurors that gave affidavits, that they were coerced. I don't think anybody said that their
They don't have to
jury
be
verdict was the
coerced.
product of coercion or duress. In fact, I don't want to have a system where jurors make a decision, then are individually polled and say that they have given a true and just verdict. And then 3 months later, they start to say, well, maybe I have second thoughts or something happened. And then all of a sudden they flip. We can't have a system like that. Without revealing attorney-client privilege, I believe that my clients, when the time comes for them to be under oath, if they're going to be under oath, I think they're going to tell a different story than what was told by the microphone by Dick Harpootlian. And remember, when you go for the king, you better hit the king and you better kill the king. If Dick does not score on this, because there could be 10 jurors, Chris, that are going to come in and say,
There, sorry.
Okay,
But-
you're right.
yeah.
I was just going to say, no, they're already under oath when they made the declaration on their affidavit. That's the same thing,
Yeah.
right? Isn't it? They
Yeah,
can't.
it is.
Yeah, they're
Well,
saying
well,
that
he's-
my statements are true and they're
Right.
silent. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
And they don't
That's
have
not-
to be coerced.
No.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be you're going to do this. She shouldn't be talking about any of this stuff with them.
it doesn't matter. Like, you can't say that. You can't say that because when they get onto a stand, they're going to change their mind.
Yeah.
That's bullshit.
but
Sorry.
also like I think it's more believable for the people that came out to it, because if all these jurors thought he was guilty, the remaining
Yeah.
ones, and they could care less what happens to this man because they think he's guilty and he did it, none
Right.
of them are gonna
So
like say
they're
yeah,
going to not say, right.
say shit.
This is garbage.
Yeah.
Like, and also, just because you don't like the fact that this has happened on this case doesn't mean that a jury can't
Right.
say that they've been tampered with ever.
Yep. That's what
Right.
I put on Twitter that day. Like, I don't care. I don't care if Alex killed them. I don't care. That has nothing to do with him getting a fair trial and not
Yeah.
being screwed by
Yeah.
somebody like Becky.
Yeah, exactly. This is not about juries like flipping all the time. Like, oh, we can't have it that a jury is going to flip.
Yeah.
What garbage? Like, this is not like setting a precedent that juries got to like start just changing their minds.
Mm-hmm. And what
No,
makes
this
your
is a
any more
situation
the ones
different.
that came out? Like, you know what I mean? So it's really stupid because it's just pinning one against the other. Because obviously, Poot and them believe these people that they talked to who told them what they told them, and then of course he believes the other people that say otherwise. So it's
Right.
just a stupid argument to have because
Well, and
of course
but
he's
there was
going to
two
say
different
my
rooms.
clients are right. Well, their clients are right. You know.
there was two different rooms, so maybe they didn't hear her say some of these
Yeah.
things. That one juror that signed an affidavit said, "I didn't hear anything, but maybe it was in the other room."
Yeah, they did see her walk off with somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And they all had
Okay.
like kind of different accounts a little bit too, like, you know what I mean, of what they felt was different. So it's not like, and there's more than one. I could see if it was like the one that got dismissed came out and she was the only one raising hell about this. But there's
Yeah,
more
but
than
there's not.
one. So anyway.
Yeah. I'm really interested to see what happens when all of them are put up on the stand, because I reckon there's going to be more of them that corroborate that there was discussions, and that this woman was at least having things to say about what to think about Alex, right? Like, don't believe him or pay attention to his actions.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. I'm for sure. All right, keep going.
that didn't happen. Becky Hill's going to have the greatest defamation claim against Dick Harpootlian that the legal world has ever seen.
What are you talking about?
Only if she also has the claim against the jurors who signed the affidavits who say it did happen, right? We know he's not
No,
making
he
it out
doesn't
of
have
whole
immunity
cloth.
for that. He doesn't have
No,
immunity
no,
in
no.
the press conference.
No, but what I'm saying is he's not making up the jurors, right? So if they say what they
Exactly.
said, you have two possibilities, three possibilities. One, it happened and they didn't know it was wrong when it happened.
Look at his stupid
They
face.
didn't know that this lady talking to them that way and giving her opinions to them was wrong. Possibility one. Possibility two
Possibility.
is they're making it up. Okay. Possibility three is they're not making it up, but your jurors are acting in good faith as well because they never talked to these two people. So they weren't aware of what Hill did to them.
Right.
You say you don't think that is true. Okay. But it could be.
It could be, but I don't think if she spoke, she wouldn't have spoken to two jurors. She would have spoken to the entire pool.
How do you know
The
that?
fact that
No.
10 people said it
This
didn't
needs to
happen,
influence
she wouldn't
that.
be talking to two separate jurors and giving
Why
them
not?
advice if she was.
They're on break.
Because
They're walking around. She has a chance to get to one of them. Then she has a chance to get to another. It's not like they walk around as a pack.
Nah. They go together and they're put in a room together.
But they
Shut up.
separated
Yeah, I like
them.
this one.
Stay together.
I
And
like this
the
one.
allegation that
I
they
do
were not
too.
entitled to given a cigarette break. Chris, that's a privilege. That's not a right. Nobody has a right
Okay.
to a cigarette break during deliberations. It's a
Right.
common courtesy that some courts do. In
Please.
New
Are
York,
you
they don't
kidding
do
me?
it. In Philadelphia, they don't do it.
They let
but
him do
maybe
it
once
all
a
through the
day.
whole
If you-
trial.
And
Yeah.
they would then tell them ahead of time so they could have gum or patches or something.
Right.
This
And they let
is-
him do it through the whole trial. She just
Yeah.
stopped him because she wanted a quick deliberation.
I like
You don't
this.
have a right during
Good job.
deliberations to get a
Good job.
cigarette break. And Dick made a big issue of that.
Because
I
it
am
is a big issue.
concerned that the process here may be affected by what Harpootlian did at that press conference. One, he made an allegation against the judge that I think was telegraphed, that
didn't.
the Judge Newman cannot be the one to hear this if the appellate court reverses and brings it back
he
for a
can't,
hearing
because he's a
he said he
witness.
was a witness. He's just made Judge Newman a witness,
And
and
he's
Judge Newman may
retiring
not be
anyways.
able to hear it. There's a number of things that Dick said that troubled me. And I don't think at this time that there
call me
is
mean
a
names.
situation where we have jurors that are in agreement. We have jurors that are in disagreement. I do agree that there has to be an investigation.
Dude,
I
what
do
the
agree
hell?
it needs to be looked into. But what do we do, Chris, if 10 jurors say it didn't happen and 2 say it did?
J.J. Abrams
I don't
doing
think
a
that's
lens
enough
flare
to
in our
overturn.
face?
Then we do a
thank
new
you for
trial.
watching. Please go to News Nation now.
They cut it off. No, but that was good because
Yeah.
that's exactly like I don't really like that guy, but I like that because
Yeah.
he got it. He'll
Right.
have the
Right.
biggest-
He's saying
he'll have the biggest
there's a
defamation.
possibility.
Yeah.
Claiming that they would defamation, like biggest defamation trial of all time. No, because he's not making up these things. These
No.
people came forward and made
Absolutely.
statements.
They did.
Right.
And I don't think that they're stupid enough to say, I mean, they're lawyers, they're not stupid enough in any of their statements to say she
No.
did do these things.
No, they haven't said that
They,
at all.
no.
They're saying,
they're-
hey,
they're not-
something seems off here.
and they said that we have jurors who have made statements about these things, right? And so, I mean, defamation is them stating that this woman did these things, right? And so, therefore, she could only sue them for defamation if
They knew the
Harpootlian
stuff
and
was
Jim
not
Griffin,
true,
Right.
yeah,
and they're doing it
Yeah.
to hurt her.
But they would have to prove
Yeah.
that too. And good luck.
And they would,
Good luck.
yeah.
But the
good
jurors
luck. Yeah,
came
they
to
couldn't do
them.
that. Yeah, exactly. So I don't think I think that's
That's-
ridiculous, like stupid thing to say.
That was an idiotic thing to say because you look stupid, Eric Bland.
Yeah, and he's a lovely fellow though. I mean, really, what a nice guy. Anyway, so moving on. People love him.
I know,
People
and
think
I
he's just
don't
wonderful, don't they?
get it, but whatever.
So anyway, so we saw how kind he was. But let's see the word on the street because don't take my word for it. Let's go, Charlie.
Wait.
hang on. What happens? Why can't you see that? Oops.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you're no. Yep. What? No,
Wait.
no. Yeah,
Sorry.
there we go.
I Felicia Taylor at Taylor_Felicia, September 8th. I don't know what makes me happier. ... The fact these jurors are in the hands of an ethical lawyer that will take care of them,
Jurors.
or the fact this will piss off Jim and Pooh. Good for you. Clap, clap. Kimry Reinhard. Kimry thinks
Ethical lawyer.
September 8th. I cannot believe that jurors have to retain counsel. Your clients are
no.
lucky to have you. Is the new excuse to avoid jury duty? In the event that the defendant is convicted, I cannot afford to retain counsel? Question mark.
God.
I think it is interesting that they did retain counsel.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know. I guess everybody should, but I don't know.
Okay, there's more. And then somebody actually asked a question, and this is one of the nicer questions, right?
Yeah.
Now, I didn't include some of the. Actually, Sal, you asked a question, I think, and I didn't include yours.
Oh,
No, I didn't. But this question was very kind. Go on.
not asking negatively, yet genuinely. How is it not a conflict of interest for your firm to represent jurors when you've openly stated you believe Murdaugh is guilty? Not a lawyer, curious.
They probably went to the jurors and offered.
EB representing these jurors has absolutely nothing to do with AM being guilty. And yes, AM is guilty. EB will protect these jurors from Pootie's harassment and not allow Pootie to twist their words to fit his narrative.
What are they calling
Twisting
Pootie?
nothing, you guys. Like, get a life. Get a life.
Okay. Elon's tiny, shriveled, unwanted dick. At Where Evil Stare, September 8th. And
I
the
had to put that.
jurors making the claims are being repped by a good friend of Poot because this matter has nothing to do with Alex Murdaugh's crimes.
What's the difference between if he's Arpulian's friend, or if Eric Land has been out there talking about how guilty Alex has been since the dawn of time?
And I feel like he's just inserting himself into the situation anyway because he just wants the clout anyway. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
Hey, Sean.
Hey, Bunny.
Hey, Bunny. Okay, so that's kind of that. Now, with this motion that's been put forth by the defense, where we're at with the progress with that. So basically, the Attorney General has 10 days to respond to the motion, and that the motion happened on the 6th of September, and so that means that and that's 10 calendar days, so it means that we've got till about the 19th.
Is it calendar or is it business?
No, sorry, sorry, I said calendar, didn't I? I meant business days.
Okay.
And so they've had till the 19th to respond to that. And then the defense has 5 days to then put something forth to the Court of Appeals. What happened to mine?
Sorry, I was trying to set up the next one.
You're right. To the Court of Appeals. Only 5 days to put something forth to the Court of Appeals. So it'll be the end of September till we hear anything, I would think. So who knows what's going to happen in the meantime, but yeah, so it'll be a little bit of toing and froing till then, I think, just in terms of gossip. But yeah, we won't hear anything about actual Murdaugh retrial until then, I wouldn't think, or maybe a bit longer. But just hold on to your pants, Lefty. Okay, a little bit busy right now. All right. Okay, and moving on. So remember our 2 issues. We have potential retrial for AM, and then we have Becky's book. So we just talked about the potential retrial. Let's talk about Becky's book for a second. So Becky's book. Now, every successful book launch starts with a press tour. Now, she was happily doing her press tour. Everything was fine. She was the star. She was getting up there and with her lovely hairsprayed hair and doing all of the stuff. And I'll show you a little bit of her very happily talking about how we came to the right decision and we did this and we did that.
Yeah.
And I'll hand you over now to Mr. Daly for a moment. There you go, Mr.
I
Daly.
think this is the right video.
It is the right video.
Wait, okay.
I
The
love the
trial
cricket
in a
sound.
small South Carolina town captured the nation. Alec Murdaugh, convicted of killing his wife and son to cover up his financial crimes.
No.
As clerk of court, Becky Hill had a front row seat every single day during that trial. This morning, she's our studio guest, one-on-one with Richard Rogers.
Becky, welcome to Augusta. Good to have you here in the studio with us this morning.
Thank you.
Richard Rogers. Why would he not go with Dick Rogers? You know, you had such a perfect chance for an epic name, and you just go with Richard Rogers.
It is an epic name.
Dick Rogers
That
would have
is.
been so much better.
I'm gonna have to tell you what my grandpa's name is, and you'll get a kick out of it.
Please.
I'll put it in the chat.
Oh,
My
come
dad once knew
on.
a Richard Munch.
Well, I don't want to
Just
die.
released this book,
grandma.
Behind the Doors of Justice. Why did you write it?
Come on, Jamie.
How could I not? This was the trial of the century.
Yes, it was.
And it was something that has never been in our parts of town before.
As you were sitting there day after day, were you thinking about
The historic thing is that there was a black judge.
this would make an amazing story? I should write a book.
I was. You just can't make this stuff up. And you wouldn't want to because it was very tragic.
Now, as clerk of court, let's get into that. You've known Alec Murdaugh and his family for years, but on the other side of the law, what was it like to have him just feet away from you facing these serious murder charges?
After he dumped you prom
Heartbreaking.
night.
Hard to believe. Totally out of my comfort zone.
Yeah. Was it awkward for you at
It was
all?
very awkward.
Seriously, like-
yes. He still greeted me every morning, though. Good morning, Miss Becky.
Is that
Were they
right?
talking about after a
And
bad
did
date
you
or
guys
what?
exchange glances during the trial when certain things came up? I mean, he was sitting right there.
We did.
That must have felt different for you because did you feel like you were a Murdaugh person? I mean, that courthouse has framed pictures of his grandfather hanging inside.
It does.
Just think about
it was
this,
so
like-
different.
Yeah.
So different.
Now, you got to see him up close. Did you ever get the sense that he thought he might beat this and get off?
Absolutely. I think he believes that he's innocent, that he has not done anything contrary.
We're too immature for this.
We are
Phrasing,
well
sir.
Like we all caught that at the same time.
Yeah.
So different.
Now, you got to see him up close. Did you ever get the sense that he thought he might beat this and get off?
Absolutely.
Oh my god. That was unfortunate.
Sir,
This is so
please
funny.
remain professional.
I need to put him on a clip.
Just
That
ignore
is
what he
so
says.
good.
That was a good one.
I think he believes that he's innocent, that he has not done anything contrary to the law, and that he really
Well,
shouldn't
if
be
he-
on trial, that he shouldn't be convicted. And
Do you think he was in denial about killing his wife and son? Did he? You say he believes it himself that he might be innocent, or was it a show?
I think all of that. I think a denial was there. I think that he didn't want it to be him, so he convinced himself that
Oh,
he was not the
Lord.
one who did it.
I'm
Now,
going to, MG.
You talk in part in your book about visiting the crime scene. You visited Moselle with the jury.
I did.
Take me through that day. What was it like over there?
Oh, that was a day that I'll never forget. Going onto that property and just the beautifulness of it first. It was just vast. And you could just see at one point that
It was vast. Okay. So that was large. So there took you a while to get from one part of it to another.
They had been taken care of. It was such a good place to come to. It had everything you can imagine to be on that property. But on that property, on that day, there was a heaviness. The clouds had rolled in. The air had picked up. The wind was moving in the wind.
Was there
We
ominous
walked
music?
to where Maggie had lain and to where Paul had lain in death. And you could see where Maggie, as a mom, was facing, going towards her son, not away, as we had initially thought during the trial.
What we thought she was running away from
That's
something.
what we thought.
She was found facing her son.
toward her son, right? And it wasn't that far away, probably from me to you.
Tell me else, what else you remember about that day and what the jurors thought about that day.
Oh, everyone, just by speaking with our eyes, because we did have an order from the judge not to speak verbally.
Speaking with
a whole
our
lot.
eyes.
And so the jurors were each walking out their own thoughts in their mind and the things that they had heard during the trial and, measurements that were given to them. We didn't have a yardstick and we didn't have a measuring tape.
This was not about scientific evidence.
It was
It was
not.
something you felt inside when you were there.
Absolutely.
Now,
Absolutely.
Wait,
you
wait,
mentioned
wait.
the judge a moment ago.
Wait,
Was he present as well?
Judge Newman was.
This wasn't about evidence. It was about how we felt inside.
Yeah.
What?
That's what trials are done,
Supposed
right?
to be about evidence.
What the hell are you talking about, lady?
Well, you're supposed to use feelings, right, to decide.
Yeah.
The more she talks, the
Once-
more I think that maybe he did hurt
Dump
her
her?
feelings. Yeah, like
Yeah. Did he reject her in high school or something?
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, he slept with her prom night and then dumped
Did he
her the next
sleep
day.
with her mother-in-law?
Judge Newman-
That's always a good joke. Anyways.
was here.
Yes.
Judge Newman has gotten amazing remarks following the way he handled this trial. What did you think about how Judge Newman
not with
handled
everybody.
this trial at such a high-profile level, landing in a small-town courthouse?
The Honorable Judge Newman is the king. He had such finesse
Oh.
and just such
Melanin?
loyalty
And he
and
was- can you
honorableness
believe that?
to the whole thing, to the whole process.
So he was out there at Mazzell that day.
He was there that
What
day.
was his role? What was he doing? Just observing?
He was
the
also
jury?
observing as well,
Mhm.
and he
you
was
tell us about
also
the
lost
body
in
language
thought,
of the jurors?
pondering, walking. It was very telling for him as well.
He was taking it all in.
Oh, it was
as
very
well.
telling,
He
huh?
was.
Okay,
How do
so
you
this was a
know?
visit that I believe you right that the defense actually came up with. Murdaugh's team came up with this visit,
Yes.
but it really flipped the whole trial
Yes.
in the prosecution's favor.
Yes, the defense requested this to
Right.
be done, and thinking it would help them on their side, it actually did the
Oh,
other.
yeah.
And jurors
Did
came
the
away
other.
thinking what?
That Alec Murdaugh was indeed guilty.
You think
How
that's
do
the
you
way
know
the trial
that?
turned?
I
How do
do.
you
I think
know?
it sealed the deal.
Let's talk about the defense team. You say they actually brought this on themselves and made the tour happen. Was there ever any recovery after that? Was there ever any momentum for Alec Murdaugh to walk out of that courtroom after that day at Mazzell?
Oh no. Oh no.
You think it was a done deal?
It was.
How do
Let's talk
you
about
know?
the story, because as we
Landing.
speak, it might not be over yet. We've got the financial crimes
We
that
do.
are working its way through the court system.
do.
We've got the boat crash, which took the life of a young girl with ties to the Murdaugh family. We've got the death of Stephen Smith, where the Murdaugh name
Are
keeps
you
coming
kidding
up.
me?
What are you watching
She's
for
like,
in all
I'm
of
working
that?
on
What are you
all
interested
that.
in all of
Yeah.
that as it plays out?
To see whether or not Alec Murdaugh will be involved in, well, we know that he's involved in at least two of those.
Oh, we know.
And to see if he's involved in the third one with Stephen
Yeah,
Smith,
see.
and to see if there's a
I'll be
guilty
there for those ones
verdict that
too.
comes out of that.
What's the talk around town about the Stephen Smith case?
The talk is right now it's with the grand jury, with the state grand jury. A lot of evidence has come forth that we don't know about yet, so I can't really speak to that. But
Nothing to do with the
I
jury.
can't speak to the grand jurors. I'm really
I'll
frustrated.
speak
The
to the
story
grand
that
jury.
just keeps unfolding
Well,
and keeps taking
I'll be
twists
there
and
in
turns
the
like
break
the
room.
world has never seen before.
Right.
And I don't know if you realize this. Actually, Alec Murdaugh is sitting in a cell not far from here this morning. He might even see this interview.
Yes.
What will you say to him today?
I've been bringing tour grips round.
You shouldn't have
how
dumped me after prom,
heartbroken I
bitch.
am, and the trust that he has, the
get what
mistrust
you
that he has
get.
caused in so many people that he
Yeah,
knew
mistrust.
and that he has let down.
What the hell kind of necklace
He
is that?
he was
What
the
is she
head of a
wearing?
dynasty handed to him by generations.
Oh.
Like
It
leopard
was all in
print?
his lap, and the wheels fell off
Yes.
dramatically.
They did.
As the whole world was watching. And for people watching this live this morning, you're going to be signing books later today. Do you have
Yes.
those details? Can you share
I
those?
do.
signing
We'll be at
books.
930
signing.
Stevens
Nice.
Creek Road. And it's a white building. It will have some balloons outside to signal
No
people to
black
come.
person has
Okay.
ever been
And
in
we will
it.
be
It's a
there
white
from,
building.
I believe,
The
1
black
until
building
6.
is across
Great.
the street.
And we look forward to everybody come on out. We'll have a good time.
What do you want people to take away from this
Come
book,
on out.
Behind the
We
Doors
have
of Justice,
separate
when it's
water
all said and
fountains.
done?
Don't worry.
What do you want this to say to people?
I hope that they can read this and see for themselves the things that went on daily throughout this trial, that there was so much more that went on in this courthouse behind these doors.
Hey,
That
old
justice
line.
was served.
Right. Justice was served. And we got to know a lot about the Murdaugh family and an incredible judge here in South
Yes,
Carolina.
yes.
Becky Hill, Clerk of Court, Behind the Doors of Justice.
Hey, this
Nice
way
to
up.
meet you. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
Hey. That was disgusting. This woman is disgusting.
Yes.
She is quite, yeah, just
Like
gut
all of
wrenching.
that's like, oh, we could see it in their eyes, and
I like her.
everybody was taking it in, and
You like
She's
her?
spunky.
you could just we
She's a
didn't need
go-getter.
evidence, just the essence of this property let us know everything that happened. Like, who is listening to this and going, man, I can't. First of all, I heard her book sucked anyway, so good luck with that. But
Oh,
Okay,
she's
so-
selling the crap out of it right now, I'm sure.
oh yeah,
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about
we
that.
want to
So
know if there's any juicy little tidbits. But
Yeah,
now,
Speaking
Miss
of juicy little
Becky,
tidbits.
okay, what?
Nothing.
Oh lordy, Miss Becky was happy to be in the spotlight until the defense motion was filed. But hey, books still need selling, right? It still needs selling.
It's gonna sell itself.
is that your
Yeah,
southern
something to
accent?
sell itself. So enter Neil Gordon, the
This-
ghostwriter and
Oh, a
co-author of
ghost?
Becky's book. Yeah, well,
Does
we
he
don't like
exist?
ghosts. Longtime reporter and publisher, now the media face of the book, whilst Becky is in legal trouble. And he's defending her valiantly, strangely enough.
yeah.
Look at him. Isn't he just the most trustworthy fella? Right? Now, he is being seen a lot in the last few days, strangely. Starting to get to know Mr. Neil Gordon. Oops, hang on. What happened?
Ruh-roh.
How did that happen?
I blame Becky for this.
You blame Becky. Maybe it was the ghost.
Yeah.
Must have been the ghost.
Scroll.
Clicking forward, why?
Scrolling.
Why does it keep clicking forward?
Because you're clicking it forward.
No, it went backwards. Sorry.
Oh.
I just
It's
go-
the
let's
Michigan
keep going.
Eris. It's the Michigan mating call.
Apparently, I have a really loud mouth cricket right out.
Horny
You
cricket.
have such a loudmouth cricket.
It is.
He's
Well,
just
my
trying
window's
to
open.
attract a mate.
Is that what they do?
There we go.
Yeah.
There we
I
go.
believe it's the males that
Sounds
Right,
like he's
now.
talking
This is interesting. So, I like this one. So, Kurt did get a super chat up on this interview the other day, and this interview really pandered a lot to Mr. Neil Gordon. But we are gonna watch a little bit of this interview because so Neil Gordon, I'm sure you guys have probably seen him talk a fair bit over the last couple of days about how wonderful Becky is and what a good-hearted person she is, and how she was very helpful to all the jurors, and how he met her just after the trial, and they spoke about how she wanted to write a book, and he actually put up $30,000 to fund the book, and there was no big check from Amazon or any other publisher. no, they did it themselves and it was all off their own bat. And yeah, it was just because it was a story that needed to be told. And because of the fact that, like, right now, she is under attorney's advice to not be speaking, obviously, he is fine to speak because apparently there is no reason. He's not the one that's being accused of tampering with any jury or anything like that. So he is able to talk to the media and continue basically to sell the book. So yeah, so he is being interviewed by these two lovely people who are, strangely enough, quite sympathetic to the the prosecution side. And Kurt actually got onto this chat and put a super chat in, and they seem to bring all the super chats up. And this particular super chat I quite liked. Becky Hill can have as much presumption of innocence from me as Becky Hill gave to Murdaugh. Seems only fair. Laughy face. So I like that one, and so I screenshotted it. But I wanted to start this video at a particular timestamp, and you should have that in the link. Sorry?
127.43.
Yeah, perfection.
Okay. Start it.
So yes, let's go, please, darling. And I am probably going to have to nip out and take my little girl to school, and we have a little bit of this to watch, so that will be perfect timing.
We will stay on topic.
You shall. Well, that doesn't. I really don't mind if you do or not. I'll be listening though.
Okay, we'll behave.
Yeah, I shall be listening.
I promise nothing. I promise nothing.
Like this potentially coming,
Like
even from the court.
He's fisting himself.
I don't know. But it's just, if that's what just as beloved as Becky was by the judge, and you saw the attorney general. I don't know if you saw that wonderful press conference where he looked up, and Becky Boo, which is her personal email.
Becky Boo, are you kidding me?
As much as she is beloved, there are people that
Murdaugh
just
did not love her. Long time.
It was interesting. Kind of like the fall of the Murdaughs. It's like you build people up, and some people take pleasure in pushing them down.
In today's society, and social media has changed.
You build people up, and some people take pleasure in pushing them down.
And in today's society, and social media has changed that dynamic. Really, really, sometimes in a positive way, but other times in a very destructive, emotional way. And we create more victims on the fallout of just that point. Karen, what were your thoughts on?
No, I agree. I mean,
contact his manager?
listen, we're no strangers to the vicious attacks and that you see on social media. This is, I guess it's polarizing. I mean, there's got to be people who, are Alec Murdaugh fans and, all of that. But I think, at the end of the day, you can give the public the facts, and they're going to make up their own. They're going to make their own decision. I think with this whole matter, with these post-trial allegations, we don't have all the facts. All we heard were two criminal defense
Come here,
attorneys
Becky
stand
Boo,
up and lob all this
Becky
stuff.
Boo.
And there hasn't been a thorough investigation. And I think so many of us are like, well, let's go back and let's hear what has to be done. That evidentiary hearing needs to take place.
Try to get me convicted next.
Not in the media, but within the courtroom. And let's get to the bottom of this. Are these two attorneys grandstanding and making these horrible accusations, or is there something to it? we just don't know right now. We don't know.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, you know, it's your book is helpful, and you know, we're grateful that you came on the show and we're able to, you know, elaborate on a lot of these points and
Good.
share with us your opinions. And
Really,
it's been really good.
So
all right.
she
You want
and
to take
Kathy,
that question?
Back in a few
Yeah.
minutes.
So was
so
I surprised by the allegations of the defense team? Did I see it coming? I was surprised at the specific allegations. I was not surprised.
Why?
I was surprised they
that
found
it ended
out.
up happening because there were murmurs that they were in town talking to jurors and possibly just trying to interview different people in town to get a sense of what went on during the trial. So I knew that they were kind of up to something. If that makes sense.
interesting. So uncivil law says Becky Hill can have as much presumption of innocence from me as Becky Hill gave Murdaugh. Seems only fair. So that's more of a comment than a statement. And thank you for that comment. Let's see here. Dana Tuso says, without the book, they had nothing for appeal, right? Do you
No, I don't think it's fair to bring in the book at all. And I've been watching some pundits, and you know, again, we've poked holes in the motivation for what, you know, Harpootlian and Griffin said, that, you know, why Becky allegedly, you know, would have tampered. So that's false. But the reality is, everyone has to allow time to pass and for the professionals to do the investigations and interview all the jurors, interview Becky if they do, and you know, everything will come out. And it really has nothing to do with the book. But you know, when you get attacked for, boy, if you wouldn't have wrote this book, then taxpayers wouldn't have to pay for a second trial, and you know,
Well, to be fair, the
people
book
just
gave
go
them the
with
evidence
their minds.
to
They go
possibly
everywhere.
get a new one.
So
Yeah, and here's
They
another.
gave them the
The
jurors.
great thing about America is the First Amendment. One person has a comment, and another has the other side. Miss Becky deserves a medal for having to deal with the Murdaugh family of wealth and privilege. And,
yeah,
What?
and I did want to say,
Excuse me?
Excuse
like I told you, she really has had respect for John Marvin and Randy, who's an attorney. She loved Alex's dad. She learned, and we talked about that a little bit in the book. She, you know, she's a pretty, like I mentioned, humble, reserved, gentle person.
Clearly.
Well, she owes whatever her ability to come out of the shell handling a jury pool. Remember, she has to be the one to help conduct questions when they are deciding whether to eliminate jurors or not. She said she learned so much from Randolph and his ability in the courtroom. And that some of that rubbed off on Alex, and she actually gave, in the book Behind the Doors of Justice, she gave Alex some compliments for how he conducted himself in the courtroom. You know, just that
he was
certain
never a good
ability where you hold jurors
He
in
was
the
never
palm of
a
your
good-
hand, or you're just the way that your personality, how you phrase things.
Pause this.
Was
Pause
I
it.
at the
He was never a lawyer he didn't try cases. He was a rainmaker because he got settlements,
Yeah.
like ridiculous settlements. But he was average in the courtroom, and 50% of lawyers are, and that's okay. And he found a niche where he can really do good.
She wanted to look like she knew more than she did.
Yeah.
It was all for
and
it was all for the book.
Yeah. Yeah. God. I'll be right back.
trial? No, I was not at the trial. And you know, my wife asked me if I wanted to come up there or whatever, and I told her no. I've been there. I've done trials. I was
Murphy
at
said
the Susan Smith
Alex too.
just before the trial, the wake with the two little kids and the funeral, and it was enough for me. Again, small town South Carolina. But My wife was at the trial because, like so many people that couldn't focus on their work, she grabbed her friend. My wife's name is Melissa. She grabbed her friend Addie, who's a fellow photographer. They just went to Walterboro. We're 2 hours away. And she was in the courtroom for about a week. And then she was just chronicling and listening and getting little video snapshots and pictures. And she was there. And ironically, she had a family
I
member
agree, Mass.
25 years ago who was an attorney who was on trial for being involved in murder, kind of a distant relative, and she sat in the courtroom. So this was the first time since then. She was fascinated by it. So she was my mobile news on tennis shoes, and she would report to me what she learned every day.
Oh my God,
But I was not there.
Neil, you reminded me of something in the book that I want to touch on, and then Chris, let's go back to that question that you just had up. But this kind of goes back to the motivation question, Neil. So in the book, Becky shared a story about how her granddaddy, and by the way, Becky is a multi-generational South Carolinian. Becky's grandpa and Alec Murdaugh's grandpa back in the 1950s ran some kind of a bootleg operation during Prohibition. Do I have that right, that it was the 50s, or would it have been the 1920s?
No, it was the 50s. And I think there was a trial in 1956. And Becky's grandfather and Buster, she's getting her zoomies out behind me there. Buster,
her zoomies out, dude.
Senior, were acquitted. They were indicted.
Dude,
but
you're
they
a
were
grown
acquitted.
man.
Now, what's so fascinating about this, he is a sitting solicitor in the 14th district.
Yeah, he was.
And Becky said, according to family members, he was acquitted, but they did together have involvement in a whiskey spill.
I just thought that was so interesting. You know, Becky is just about the same age as Alec. They they share that story together. And I'm not implying Becky has any other similarities with the Murdaughs.
Right.
But even throughout the book, she talked about this conflict, this internal conflict that she had with doing her job, but also understanding who the Murdaughs were in the community, and her own personal family lore that did involve the Murdaughs too. And that's it's a thread throughout your book that I found quite interesting.
I did too. And I noticed some comments about the book, which are so kind. And someone gave us a shameless plug, but it's actually true. We're not a bestseller, like overall bestseller, but we are #1 bestseller in this category. It's called a white collar true crime category.
Involving court reporters who write books after a case.
Right?
So #1
Yeah, it is going to be a white seller.
I think it's
white collar bestseller.
300th or 400th biggest bestseller in general. So, I mean, I'm not going to deny it. All of this stuff has created, which I'm so glad, it's created people who maybe have looked at what Dick Harpootlian and Jim Griffin did with the press conference, and it's made them think, maybe I need to check for myself what they're saying. Maybe I need to get this book and read a little bit and learn a little bit about Miss Becky,
right
and
from the
see
horse's
what they
ass's
can-
mouth.
Because that's what why I think what psychologists have said about this trial in general. People want to
100%.
be internet sleuths, and they also want to be able, it's like a puzzle. They want to be able to solve the puzzle and put the pieces together. And it's almost like they can't rest until they figure it out.
Yeah, no, I think they've done you a favor for sure to that question, that they've raised the temperature of the book for sure. I mean, you're sitting here on our podcast because we always like to go give the benefit of the doubt.
Mark Jensen's a bestseller from the Kenosha County courthouse for his manuscript. And I think me and Court TV are the only people who've purchased it. But it's still a bestseller out of manuscripts there that have been sold.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
Until we know, in terms of what the evidence shows, and the evidence at this point has put Alex in prison for killing 2 people. And at this now we're in the post phase of this where the defense attorneys are doing their job. They're trying to raise as many questions as they can, but unfortunately now they're pulling in clerks. I can't think of a case I was ever on where a court clerk was ever questioned by the defense, and then there was a big press conference about it after a book had come out. I mean, I've not ever seen anything like this, to be honest with you. And we're seeing some of it in the Korbarger case, where they're using, in my opinion, they're using the motions process to talk to the public around the gag order. They're using motions, about DNA. They're using motions about, timelines and all this other stuff.
How dare them?
Because they can't have a press conference. And so they're using the system and they're gaming the system. Whereas, a good defense attorney needs to just do their job and file motions. But when there's a gag order out there and they keep asking, to get things free, this is the same thing. I mean, you saw Griffin, you saw Arpulian, just pull things off in the courtroom. I had an aha moment when he walked in front of the expert testimony. Remember when he was walking around the courtroom?
Mm-hmm.
And
who does that?
I know.
Right.
Who
Chris,
cares?
I want to
They
ask
walk
Neil
around a
one
courtroom.
of these questions that just popped up.
That really pissed me off. I could not believe he had the audacity to walk around a courtroom.
Yeah. What are you talking about? Did you see the way he walked around that courtroom? Could you believe it? Can you believe it? Like, that's what are you talking about?
They don't care what Becky did because they hate Alex that much.
Exactly.
So it doesn't matter. She could have went in there and filled out the paperwork for them. They wouldn't care.
No.
Sir, when are you going to be on Brandy's show? You just know she'd love to pleasure you.
Oh my God, she would love to.
Hey, maybe Sean will be on there next.
Oh,
that's a good question.
Sure.
And Becky,
I seriously did look at buying her book. It's only a few dollars because it would be funny to do a dramatic reading, but I just cannot get myself to give her money.
Oh, for the book?
Becky,
yeah.
Read it when it comes out in evidence.
Yeah. I'll wait for a PDF copy I find online somewhere.
Pay more to the courthouse.
Wait until it's in like dollar bin at Walmart or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it'll be at the Dollar Tree soon.
Yeah.
he mentioned.
Well, no, the Murphs. Technically, that was I think it was Dick who pointed the.
Oh man, that was so bad.
Prosecutor and say, "Oh, I'm so tempted."
Right. That was so bad.
So bad, but so funny.
But could you believe it, Sal? He was walking around. I couldn't believe it.
Just points the gun at him.
Did you guys just hear that? Like what he was talking about? He was talking about the Kohberger case.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was referring to the fact that in the Kohberger case that they are using motions in order
they're filing
to,
motions. Oh, no.
Yeah, they're filing motions in order to basically get around the fact that they don't want to have a press conference. So they don't want to have a press conference and speak on behalf of the defendant. So instead, they're having motions and they're gaming the system.
Is that why they mentioned gag order?
Yes.
Okay, because I was like, Alex didn't have a gag order. That's why I was a little.
No, they're talking about Kohberger. The guy at the bottom there, he's talking about Kohberger. and they're comparing it to this situation, right? And oh my God, how much do you want to talk about? Or do you want to just completely undermine the rights of a defendant? Like, this is just mind-boggling. Is this guy? Are any of these two reporters lawyers at all?
I don't know.
I thought they might have been to start off with, but now I'm just like, what?
Well, the way that Eric Bland guy speaks, he doesn't even sound like a lawyer to me. He sounds like an idiot.
Well, because he is, but
Have you
That's
seen the
one of
website
her
for the
interviews that she did?
No, we
before the
should look
book
at that
came out.
actually.
Did Alec get to pick the jurors? And if so, how did that happen?
I don't know the answer to that question. I know that they started with 900 summonses.
Really enough for that.
And
That
then
doesn't
they
surprise
got
me.
an unusually high number of people to show up. I think it was 350.
Golly.
And Alex was there. He was there listening to Becky ask questions and ask
He
the judge
is
ask
allowed
questions.
to.
Because as you know, they're trying to find out.
Wow. How
He's
dare
allowed
he?
to.
How
He
dare
is
he
allowed
pay
to.
attention and listen
he
to
assisted
the
in his
jury?
own defense.
It is
How
his
dare
right
he?
to do that.
Is he even not allowed to be there? Like they force you to be there
He's
in a
allowed.
criminal trial.
Yeah, they have to let you be there. He could probably opt out of being there, but they can't
Well, I don't know if that's
do it without him being there on their own.
I don't know
He
if
is
he
the
is
right-
allowed. Not
he
sure
is
if he's allowed
allowed-
to even opt out.
Yeah, I don't think he can. Civil,
I think
he
You,
he
can.
can.
you probably can file
No.
to, but then it
Well-
would have to go in front of the judge, the motion to, with like,
you can make an ass out of yourself and get kicked out to another room. But like Chandler Halderson didn't want to show up to sentencing. And
that's
the judge
right.
made
And,
him.
and they could have
Judge
allowed
made him.
that, but they just
Well,
didn't.
Sentencing
Judge-
night would be different than I think jury selection. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
that would look bad if you weren't there though.
Yeah, that's true.
To the jury. Like you don't care enough. Like it
Yeah.
just
well, I
anyways.
mean, they're not really asking questions, so like, it's really
yeah,
all the
but-
lawyers. So-
Yes, correct. You can't opt out. See Laura Ballo. Yep.
Okay.
Whether there's
Well, I
any
guess it
past
depends on the state,
relationship
but
with
yeah.
Alex.
But to
or
make the
if
assumption
there's-
like he was there, like,
Yeah.
He was there.
like, look
There
at
can
him.
only
I'm
be
like,
one.
no, he's supposed to, like, he wants to be there. He wants to be involved in all of this. This is
Yeah.
his.
It's not like he's a
life on-
lawyer or anything.
Well, yeah. Anyways,
Single mom, and it would be a hardship. And there's so many different ways to eliminate. So if he did, it was kind of like what happened in court. He might have been pulling the strings. So he very well could have said, I don't care for this juror or that juror.
He
And
did.
you get so many strikes.
you
Yeah.
idiot.
But I will tell you,
He
and
was a-
Becky did mention this to me, and actually we did not
This guy knows nothing.
get down too deep in the weeds on this part of it. Neither side used up all their strikes. There was actually
This guy knows nothing. Why is he?
He
Why is
doesn't.
he talking about this sort of stuff? He knows nothing firsthand.
Okay, first of all, lawyers don't want to use up all their strikes.
Exactly.
They they need strikes left in case there's a really bad juror. So they're very
Yeah.
cautious as they go.
And he is allowed to have say with his lawyers in who's
He's
there.
allowed to choose. Yeah, it's his life. He's allowed to, and he's a lawyer. He did this. He knows.
My God.
really a pretty good consensus of the jurors that they wanted. And it was very strange to me.
Oh
A
my
lot has been
God.
made of the fact that
What's strange? What's strange to you?
Becky's daughter almost was selected as a juror. And it's in the book. But there is a random system on how jurors are actually selected. So she was approved by both sides.
Oh
and
my
they
God.
both wanted to know, would your daughter be influenced at all by you or your dad or her current employer, who is I believe a former sheriff. in the area. And Becky said she's a redhead, and when she makes up her mind and is independent, she's independent. She would be a very good juror, and I believe she would have. And then, of course, you remember one of the key jurors, his brother was a key investigator on the case. And as a layperson, you wonder, well, how could this happen? Well, both sides, including Alex, gave the thumbs up. Didn't strike him.
That's astounding to me, because
But
to
did
me,
they?
if a relative is on the jury, that's a conflict.
But did
I'm
they, or
glad
were they told you
my
can
daughter
use
was
one of your
never on the jury.
strikes?
Even
I know.
if
It would have been
I said
strikes.
yes.
He should have been
I
struck
know.
for cause immediately.
I'm thinking, I don't get it. Has the judge said anything about the book? We did not send material to every
I should've
person
super
that
chatted
we
in where
talked
do
about in
babies
the
come
book,
from?
but out of great respect to Judge Newman, we sent the passages that involved him. And he gave us some more specifics, because it was not only his 40-year-old son that had just passed away, but it was 2 other relatives within a period of a month or 2. So he helped to kind of frame who they were.
So he has a
What does that
motive.
matter?
Are you saying he should be investigated? Did he do it?
What? Sorry, I missed that. What?
What are you talking about?
Newman, we sent the passages that involved him. And he gave us some more specifics, because it was not only his 40-year-old son that had just passed away, but it was 2 other relatives within a period of a month or 2. So he helped to kind of frame who they were.
Yeah, so 3 people in his life passed within
What
a
does that
month or
have
2.
to with anything, though? Like,
Well, because she was.
I mean, it's
he put it in the
suspicious.
book.
why did she put that in the book?
I mean, did he have something to do with it? They could have looked at him.
No, it's not about that. Okay, so here's the deal, right? So she wrote, as part of the narrative in the book, something to do with Judge Newman and his personal life, and the fact that he was being affected by grief at
No,
the
I
time,
understand.
and then also, by the way, other people died in his life afterwards, right? Now, what this guy's going to get to is that they gave Judge Newman, out of courtesy, parts of the book to read, and he gave his blessing for the book, right? And they took it as he gave his blessing for the book, right? No, he saw passages about himself, right? Now, not the book, passages about himself, right? So I think, like, what's being sort of misinterpreted here, and what's also being put out there, and it's a bit misleading, is that the judge had some blessing over the entirety of the book, and the fact that the whole book is being published as it is, and that's not the case. I don't think that Judge Newman would have been too happy about the book being published, that the entirety of the book. So I mean, I can't speak for him, I don't know, but I think that what's being said here is that he only saw parts about himself.
Okay.
Well,
Were for
Jesus, now I lost my train of thought. To me, I mean, I knew something went on. I didn't know the details of it all, but like, that's like a huge thing for me too. Like, why didn't he, like, I don't feel like he was fit to even see that trial with what was going on in his life, because I mean, well, he was biased as hell, but I think it made it even worse.
Yeah, I agree. But I mean, I don't think anyone has said that he got to read the entirety of the book.
No. Yeah.
For us and things like that. But here's the other thing. He never cautioned Becky. The Chief Justice of the state of South Carolina never cautioned Becky. She used the word blessed. They blessed it.
Blessed.
Not in any legal way, but just
in a legal way.
They just have they hold her in such high regard
Or maybe they did.
Again, they understand the weight of this trial, and that it's almost for history's sake, to be able to just recant what was going on. It's like a snapshot in time.
Yeah.
Did Becky know Maggie Maxine asked?
I hate that
Not
part.
very
They blessed
well,
it.
but she
What, are
had
they the Pope?
met her a few times. Now, Becky's doctor, and I'm can't recall his name, but he's in the book. Becky actually went and just had a regular doctor's appointment with her doctor and interviewed the doctor he allowed, because they were next door neighbors of Becky and Maggie in, I want to say Beaufort, if I'm not mistaken, but not in Walterboro or Colleton County, but they were neighbors at one of the, maybe it was Alameda, or one of the other homes that they had. And so he really liked Maggie and talked about Maggie, and thought, in the book, mentioned that Alex really had, it was almost like, he was seeing Satan when he would see Alex around. And he felt bad for the kids because there was not a tremendous amount of discipline.
Interesting. Sometimes in trials, before you answer this question here, sometimes in trials.
What did he say about who was seeing Satan?
Seeing Satan when he would thought they had.
Who was it though?
And so he really liked Maggie and talked about Maggie, and thought, in the book, mentioned that Alex really had, it was almost like,
Who's he? The doctor?
Seeing Satan when he would see Alex around. And he felt bad for the kids because there was not a tremendous amount of discipline.
Interesting. Sometimes in trials, before you answer this question here, sometimes in trials, there's a lot of stuff that takes place that the jury never hears, in some of the motions and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Now that the trial's been adjudicated, do you have some of that stuff in your book, in the book?
About, I apologize.
No, that's all right. As Alex likes to call it, yip yap. Do you have any yip yap in the when the jury's out and the attorneys are there, the judges there, the clerks there, the bailiffs are there?
Listen, Murph.
And they're all yip yapping about stuff outside of the ears of the jury. You got any yip yap for us?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I can answer part of that.
Go ahead.
No, but your stories are very much, the inside baseball type of things, but
Luna,
she's not, you don't relate conversations, let's say, between Creighton Waters, a comment to Jim Griffin. I'm just using that as an example. There's nothing like that in the book.
No, not to that. Although there was a lot of scuttlebutt out in the, in the lobbies and all sorts of things like that. And when the jury was out, I mean, it for the first time during the 6 weeks for sure, and the entire time, it really hit Becky. She had to read the verdict, and she started to get very anxious and panicky. And she ended up calling a colleague of hers.
She was excited.
She had talked to different colleagues in the planning phase.
She does this all day long.
And she talked
She was
with
giddy
her,
about it.
And she sort of talked Becky off the ledge. Becky was like, I don't think I can do this.
What are you
She started to remember, knowing Alex
he needs to keep doing these interviews.
and the family and the brother. She started to really get out of her skin maybe as a clerk of court and as a
I can't wait till he's
being,
called to
and
the
it was
stand.
just unsettling. But she prayed, she spoke on the phone, the flag was right outside her door, and she was just encouraged to do her job.
She was just proud to be an
so
American.
that was kind of going on during that. There was a very tense period of everybody kind of waiting.
Okay, so we have a couple of traditions here. Well, and the first one is when we get ready to wrap this up,
I can't
you
stop
get the final
smiling.
word.
Just,
So start thinking about what you would
like,
want to say, Neil.
this is crazy.
And then,
This is too funny.
in your opinion, Maxine asks,
This is the
Neil, are
best
the defense
interview
attorneys
I've seen him
suffering
do,
a
like in
level of
terms of
professional
hilarity.
embarrassment losing the Murdaugh case? What's your
Oh,
opinion?
professional
What a good
embarrassment.
question.
Good question.
Well,
We need
I
David
mean,
to ask
on
him
the
on.
other end,
Yes.
they have a conviction that I do believe they think he's innocent, and he's deserving of the best counsel he can get. I mean, that's our country. And so I don't think they think they're embarrassed. I think they think they're fighting a good fight. I heard something recently that there's no more money left. I guess it's almost pro bono right now. I don't know that to be true, but that's
You don't
what I
know
keep
that to
hearing.
be true. So shut your mouth.
And I do visualize though, Dick in his Mercedes going through the dirt roads of Colleton County, knocking on the jurors' doors. That's a visual I don't know that I'll ever get out of my head.
Wow.
So.
Wow.
Yeah, that was almost over your glasses.
Yeah.
Moment. It was an interesting
was it?
moment. Karen, thoughts before we turn it over to Neil? And then Neil, at the end of your comment, we have a tradition here with the second one is we go to Hawaii. So we play a really uplifting song. And your book, by the way,
We're not
everybody, if
doing the
you've just
uplifting
joined
song.
us, Neil's book with Becky, Neil's the
Oh, is
co-author.
this what Kitten True Crime?
Behind the Doors of
Doors
Justice.
of Justice.
It's available on Amazon. We're going to have the link below in our description.
We're not having the link
We just
below.
ask you here from the interview
We're going to
room
be
to help
stopping
our
this in a
channel
sec.
by subscribing and sharing this on your social media networks, wherever they may be. We
They
are
are
grateful
making
and
bank.
would appreciate that.
Look at
very
this, Dick.
much.
So this is actually
And our
an
audience,
hour and a half
if you've just
that
joined us, we're
they
so
talked
grateful.
for,
Karen, what are your
which is
thoughts?
the longest I've seen
I would
anyone
just,
put up with
again,
him.
thank you, Neil, for being here and to share
clearly,
this side of the story
they
with
love his ass.
everybody. We're grateful. And I'm going to let you get the final word here.
Okay, so I'm going to pull out. Whoops, hang on.
Oh, he's
I love you.
This is quite the stream.
And now, here's the next question. Will you bring Miss Becky back when she's able to
Yes.
to talk?
She recommended that I come on the podcast.
I bet she did.
Women's Intuition. She said, Neil,
I can't talk.
something about the interview room and the husband and wife team.
bet.
I just really like them. And so
bet
I
she
want
does
to
like
come
you
on,
guys.
and you should too. And so
Oh,
absolutely.
yeah.
Wonderful. And so you
Alright, that's
know, like
Let's
you,
move
I
on.
married way up with my Karen. So you get the final word, my friend. Have a good night.
My final word is, Becky's a friend of mine. Besides being a co-author, she's somebody that I look up to greatly. She is just unplugging.
You're gonna look
all
up to her in
weekend.
jail?
It's been
Barely
exhausting,
know
as you
her.
might imagine. And what I would encourage,
Right. Didn't he
if
say they met like
get into
weeks after the
conversations
trial?
with your friends
months
over
they
the
know
next
each other.
several weeks, just encourage them to let the process out. Let the professionals do their thing. Get all the interviews out of the way. Let SLED be involved, the FBI, whoever is going to
Sled
be
doesn't need
involved.
to be involved in
Because
anything.
whatever happens in the dark will
No,
come
they
to
shouldn't
light.
be involved in anything
Rather
going
than rush
forward.
to judgment and be critical of why this happened or why that happened. Just be patient. If Alex Murdaugh was granted an opportunity and
Wonder
the
how
belief
long
of
till he
being
does a
innocent
tube in on
until
one of these
proven
interviews.
guilty, please allow that for my friend. I think it's only fair. And lastly,
Oh,
of course,
Oh my God.
if you have questions about what Dick Harpootlian and Jim Griffin happen to have mentioned, at the press conference. It's Tuesday, September the 5th. I'm the co-author. My name's on the book, and he really kind of
hurt my feelings.
Criticized. He said he wasn't going to do a book review, but he did. I would just encourage you to learn for yourself. You could actually, Becky,
please buy my book.
Becky has chosen
was
not
critical
to
of
speak
me
right
in his
now.
book
Let the
report.
I
system
mean,
me a
get that
GD
grip,
head.
buddy.
But she did the audio book of it. So if you want to hear from Becky, it's 4.5 hours. The whole
Oh
book.
my Lord!
You can order that on audio.
They can play that in court.
Jesus Christ,
And
she read the
it's
book
on
on
Amazon
audiobook?
Behind the Doors of
Yes, I hope they play it in court.
Oh my
To
God.
the McDougalls,
the jury will be begging Alex Murdaugh to unalive him.
Karen and Chris, thank you so much for
Your Honor, the defendant would
opportunity
like to read this
and
into the record.
ability to be fair and to balance things out, and I really appreciate it. And I hope everybody has a wonderful work week ahead. And again, thank you so much for having
Shut
me
up,
on.
Nino.
Shut up. Shut up.
Shut up.
Shut up.
I know. Quit doing
Okay.
it. Oh, he
My
needs to quit.
God.
But I hope he doesn't.
Thanks, Sal.
He is starting to get on my last nerve.
Right.
Oh.
Okay. My Lord. That was intense.
Like everything he says is it's all from Becky. It's all he knows. It drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Because he's saying things like he is firsthand knowledge of all this stuff. And he doesn't.
Do you think she's going to tell you? Because that would make you a witness against her if she were to tell you,
I know,
yeah,
right?
I said this and this and this to the jury. Like,
hey, I wrote this book and I did my job, but I want to let you know that I was really talking to those jurors and I was doing all this shysty stuff, but don't tell anyone.
did he just say that if she's telling him things to say, that could probably be used?
Well, no, this can be used against her.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, especially if there's if they subpoena and she's texted and things for him to say in front of these cameras.
That too.
Right. So obviously the book is selling like Miss Becky's hotcakes. Don't they look delicious? Yes. Yummy, yummy,
There's
yummy.
the white stuff on
Is that
them.
a soggy biscuit?
What was
That's
that?
cream, I think. I think it was cream.
Ew.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know. And apparently the book is all cool with these guys, right? So the State Ethics Commission of South Carolina, like my little seal of approval, isn't it cute?
No, it's a seal, and he approves.
Yeah. And he approves, right? I know. So, because she did send a letter to them and ask them for their approval, right? But here's the thing with that. And that is that if you actually have a bit of a look at what she asked them, look a bit closer at what was requested. It's not exactly clear about what was being published. And it wasn't until a bit later, the book got released early August. Now, in an email dated April 28th, 2023, and this is the response from the Ethics Commission to her, and they've quoted what she asked for. So they've said, in an email dated April 28, 23, you submitted, this is you, Rebecca Hill, you submitted the following relevant information. Good morning, Courtney. This is what she said to them. Good morning, Courtney. My name is Rebecca Hill, and I am the clerk of court in Colleton County. I have a question about the writing of a book by a clerk of court about the process of a trial from beginning to end. A trial. Yeah, from beginning to end. Focusing on the process itself, the history of it, and of course, the high profile cases, plural, that South Carolina has had. What would be the ethic procedures behind this?
Yeah.
So that's a bit
trial.
broad. That's a bit broad, don't you think?
Super broad.
Yeah, right. So yeah, and like that, so that's a bit broad. So that's their, like, they said that was fine, but that's like a bit of a broad blessing to give. That's not exactly what was published, right? It was Behind the Doors of Justice on the Alex Murdaugh trial. Now that was in April that she asked, and May was the response that was given by them. Now, and it's not like this whole thing wasn't being planned long before it was being cleared by any of the outside parties. Now, someone on Twitter went and found this. This was Hey Girl, and she went and found the creation of the domain name for the book website, and it was actually 17 days after AM's trial ended on March 2nd, and long before she wrote to the ethics committee about writing her book. So the domain name behindthedoorsofjustice.com was updated and created on the 19th of the 3rd, so 19th of March. Yeah. And that was on GoDaddy.com. So
she knew that it was going to be a problem.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's why
So
she went to them and asked them her broad question.
Yeah, later. Right. So she knew it was going to be behind the doors of justice. She knew it was all going to happen. It was all in the making, all happening long before. Yeah, exactly, half Irish. Never underestimate internet sleuths. Exactly. So super not truthful. Yeah, totally. So it's not like this stuff is not easy to find. It's very easy to find. You can find it with a really, really quick search. So meanwhile, this sort of content was being posted in the lead up to the book launch. Make up your own mind on the ethics of this. So this is Neil Gordon, the guy that we were just watching, her co-author. And on June 14th, so before the book came out, and it says, yesterday, I showed you the below photo of Alex Murdaugh resting in his holding cell while the jury deliberated. Today, a photo of some of the near 500 visitors that Becky Bloom-Hill and her bailiffs had given tours to at the, I'll show you the rest of it in a minute. Look at this photo, right? So there's Neil posting a photo of him in his cell, right? This is ridiculous. And this is real. Even after the trial ended March 3, tourists, some wearing bring the jury hats in honor of Newman, have journeyed to this mecca of southern malfeasance and malpractice to snap photos outside the historic South Carolina Low County Courthouse, built 1822. So Clerk of Court Rebecca Hill decided to invite them in and give them a tour. What? Right?
So
and
weird.
It's more than weird. Like, what's going on? So she, having her newfound fame, is the one giving out tours, and Neil is posting about it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So word on the streets. So where's Sally? Come back. We need your voice.
Sal.
Sal. Okay, Mads, maybe a clerk can give a courthouse tour, right? But in context of the fact that she's about to have a book come out, I don't know. What do you guys think? Jamie?
What?
And Farrell? Okay, so Mads is saying that it's not weird for her to give a courthouse tour. Sure, okay. I don't love the photo of AM actually in his cell. I'm not sure how ethical that is.
Circumstances, I find it weird.
Yeah, it's more with the book.
It's cringy.
And it's more with the book coming out. That it's more in the AM photo is weird. In the context of the fact that she knows that she's writing this book and it's coming out in the next few months, I feel like there is some forethought to the way that she's exposing the courthouse and the keeping the momentum of the publicity for the trial going.
Yeah. And
let's not forget it.
Is exactly what I'm feeling too. Josie.
Yeah. She's flaunting his conviction and almost proud she was part of it. Yeah, exactly. Like she's trying to keep that going. Sal.
Cringy.
Yeah, cringy. Sal, word on the streets. Can you please read this comment about that thing that was just posted?
Ben Smith. 33991417.
By the way, I
September
like
9th.
this guy, so let's be nice to him.
Oh, is he okay? All right.
Yeah, he's cool.
I hope her co-author sharing this pic of Alex and Becky giving tours of the cell are just a coinkydink, but I don't know. She writes about the tours in her book, including the stop at the holding cell. I covered their faces from the article as they're just regular folk.
Yeah. So that's the
Thank you
thing.
for letting
It's
me know
like,
you liked him.
yeah.
I didn't want to be a dick.
Well, here's the reason that I picked this out, because he actually pulls up some really important and like curious points about the publicity that has been brought up around Becky and Neil Gordon. So he's actually someone that's kind of worth following. More word on the streets.
Do you like them?
No.
Okay.
Hang on. I don't know. I don't know if I like them or not.
Boy, or
Just go on.
Okay. A Miller 12 at A Miller 1219. September 9th. I wonder if it violates the rules of ethics since the photo was taken off the monitor of the courthouse.
Okay.
Marcy at Journey 987. September 9th. Hashtag voyeur Becky.
I want him to do romance novels.
50 Shades of Grey.
I don't know why I find that as funny as I do. Oh, oh dear. Okay, so anyway, rules of ethics. Poo! You like my little ending thing? How cool is that?
Do you have the picture? Can you go back to that? I think I missed it.
Sure. Okay. Of Alex's cell.
The one at Alex, yeah.
Yeah.
Was it of him or just the cell?
Yeah.
No,
it was him. Hang on, not them. Them. That one.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's strange.
It is strange, isn't it?
Oh, is that a John Grisham novel?
Who's
You remember
that?
when he got in trouble for that?
No.
No, during the
Well, he never
trial?
got that. His sister, right? Brought it and gave it to
Or
the
his son.
attorneys.
I
I
thought
think
they
the
gave it to
sister
him.
did it. No,
Okay.
they gave it to the attorney and then got in trouble for it.
Yeah, and then they gave it to him, I think.
They gave it to his attorney to give to him, which I don't understand what, the attorney should know, well, he can't have this, so it
But
should
then
stop there.
They said they were going to prosecute him for receiving a John
Contraband.
Grisham novel. Contraband. I made some memes about that. Of
Did you?
the prosecutor in the My Cousin Vinny.
Yeah.
And he's has his hands up like that. And his hands one is, it was a John Grisham novel.
Oh my god.
It's on my work computer. I'll post it.
You need to share those.
Yeah. Yes, you do.
I had a
You
few
do.
good ones.
Yeah. Anyway, I want to
Join the Discord.
Because yes, you do need to. In fact, someone please.
Yeah,
put the
I'll post my
link up.
all my
Beryl,
Murdaugh
I just
memes.
wanted you. You can
I'll grab the link.
Oh, but you didn't mod Lefty.
She can't.
I can't mod Lefty. I tried to mod Lefty.
No,
and something's
actually,
wrong.
it was showing him as a mod, I think.
It and I kept trying to remove it, and I couldn't.
Huh.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, because it gave me the same options as Farrell, but I don't know, it was weird.
It wasn't showing a tool next to his name, and then, but yet it was telling me I could remove him. Anyway, I just wanted to show my beautiful little poo pile next to the thing again. Go, ready, and
there's the link.
Ooh, That's
Where do
fun. I
babies
could
come
do that
from?
over and over and over again. And Dan. Thanks for watching. La la la. Subscribe, like, share, tell all the people, do all the YouTube things. Oh, thank you, Murph. Oh, you know what, Murph? You helped me. You did. You're awesome. You're awesome. You're awesome. Cool. All right. So I'm gonna take that off the screen and go like that.
Yay.
And I did wonder whether or not you guys wanted to look just quickly at the website for the book, because someone mentioned that.
Sure. You do you, boo.
Yeah.
Let's just have a quick gander.
You boo.
Yeah, boo. Hey, Feral boo. Sal boo.
What kind of a grown ass woman still goes by Becky Boo?
Thank you. Jenny
Howdy-ho.
boo. You getting it up, Dolly?
Oh, you want me to get it up?
Yes.
Of course
Apparently
you
you
do.
get it up quite often. Apparently it's easy for
Beyond.
you.
Oh yeah, I am on testosterone, although I didn't take it this week.
Yeah, that's it. You've been taking
That's
it.
probably a good thing.
I know.
Well, you've been taking it regularly.
I took it last week and then skipped to this week and the week before.
We can tell when you're taking it.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Huh. Go figure. What's the website?
We're getting used to you. So.
Just behind the doors of justice.com.
Oh, okay.
That way, when we go do our media tours, we can say he's our friend,
Mm-hmm.
Didn't work.
and we totally believe he did that creepy thing.
The Doors of Justice?
Behind the doors of justice.
Never. .com.
I agree, Murph.
Oh my god.
I think the state attorney called her Becky Poo. I bet.
I bet Creighton Waters is just steaming under his collar right now.
Oh, I'd love to see him.
Oh,
comment.
I'd love to hear him talk.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be
Beyond-
so
Behind
good.
the Doors of Justice. The Murdaugh Murders. Rawr. Witness the Colleton County Clerk of Court on a journey culminating with her reading of 4 guilty verdicts to Alex Murdaugh and millions of viewers. Follow Rebecca Becky H. Hill on her chilling visit to the crime scene at Moselle when she looked the jurors in the eye at the moment Alex's life would change
They
forever.
use
Oh
that
my
wording.
god.
What?
Look
Life
in
would
the
change
eye.
forever. Learn about Judge Newman's grace under fire as he endured 3 personal tragedies just before sitting on the bench for the trial of the century.
Ah, kiss his butt.
What was it like having the New York Times, network news channels, court TV, and 50 media outlets descend on a Mayberry-like town of Wattleboro, South Carolina?
Wattleboro.
What is that?
After the trial unfolded, Becky learned the true story of how Alex Murdaugh's then solicitor granddaddy and her granddaddy were involved in illegal business
Granddaddy.
70 years ago.
Is English your second language?
I love when the cell goes rogue. It's great.
Take a
Me
front
too.
seat in the trial of the century and go behind the doors of justice. The Murdaugh Murders.
So good.
Click the link above to order your copy today. Available on Amazon in hardback with photos, soft cover with photos, or Kindle. Audio will be loaded as well mid-August, read by Becky.
Oh my god.
Contact us. Drop us a line.
So, if we couldn't love you anymore, you were
Is
just.
there any
You really do need to do audiobooks.
Yeah.
is there any reviews?
Amazon has reviews.
Oh,
No. Well, are
does
there
the
any other
website
sections
have
of the site?
reviews?
Yeah.
I don't think so. It's pretty basic.
Really?
Yeah, contact us. Ooh, I can
Oh, let's
contact her.
contact them.
Don't contact them.
Drop us a line.
Well,
Oh.
maybe contact Neil. See if Neil wants to
Where
talk.
babies come from. You're gonna do
Did
it.
you just put Mark Jensen in there? Hey, well, you write a book about me now.
Are you gonna ask Marky Mark when you write him where babies come from?
Yeah, should
Can I get an interview?
Turkey basters.
Yeah. Ask him where babies come from. Oh, turkey basters.
Did you send it? Do you really have that email address?
No.
Oh.
No, CompuServe was an ISP or internet.
Did you
at the
just
time.
send it off?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
No, I need to respond to Zach, but I also need to email Mark Jensen. They got some drama together.
What are we gonna do?
Oh,
Here's-
yeah, that's
yeah.
news. Hey.
Yeah.
That's
Are you doing something tomorrow, EU? Or streaming?
Not unless
Any
Purse
plans?
House is back.
It's not.
It's not?
No.
Oh, okay.
They met today
Well,
to
tomorrow
decide.
then.
I think it'll be back tomorrow and then stream Wednesday.
Yeah, they said they're gonna discuss what was going on, and if they are okay, then they'll start tomorrow, which means you guys won't get it till Wednesday, right?
Oh, well,
So-
is that the case? Then we might have breaking news
Yeah.
on
So then we can do a Jensen stream tomorrow.
Jensen stream. Yes. Awesome. It's
Same.
Jensen, Pains of
It was
Our
awful.
Lives. Pains of Our Lives is back for another
yeah.
day.
Another episode.
Yeah, I got some. Yeah, I'll say. Let's just say I got a source close to that Jensen.
A source.
A source. A
Awesome
secret
source.
You got a secret
Nice.
source.
Yes.
Exciting. All right.
So-
Well, that was awesome fun. I'm pretty sure there'll be another Becky stream at some point, but I'll probably leave it a week or so and let some things happen.
Yeah.
Because stuff is happening pretty
Oh
fast.
yeah, stuff will happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Becky stuff is just like the drama is just vomiting.
And
all over
everybody's
the
looking
place.
for it.
Somebody needs to get him on one of our shows.
Oh God.
And I don't know that he would come on like your
Maybe
guys's
David.
yet, but David's, yeah, because
No.
he's an attorney and
David could probably, David would probably sweet talk him into thinking that he's
He's on
going
his
to have a
side.
safe audience.
and he hasn't.
Yeah.
David hasn't done a bunch of shows making fun of him like.
Like, yeah.
No, he hasn't. Yeah,
Yeah, it is kind of the
exactly.
problem.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
you
you
know
know,
what?
the other
I
person who
think
could
he's-
probably do it is
he's
Steve.
ridiculous.
Steve could probably talk you into it.
Yeah, but he wouldn't be funny about it.
Yeah, David.
No, he'd
would-
be.
Well, David probably
Yeah.
wouldn't either, but
No, I
No,
think
David
David- Make us
would be
behave.
very fair.
Also, I feel like he could possibly get some good questions in there, more than
Yeah.
just you know what I mean. Kind of
I
like
honest- what was that one guy? Who was he?
That asked
No,
the question,
the
or-
one that had Eric on.
Chris
Oh,
Cuomo.
Cuomo?
Yeah.
Oh, was it? Oh, okay. I've
Yeah,
never. I
a
don't know that
douchebag.
I've ever actually watched it.
Yeah, I know.
I know of him,
No,
but
it's not a news channel. Like what?
No,
right.
hot
Yeah, that's I know of him, but I've never actually
Yeah.
watched him. He asked some
Honestly,
good questions.
like, no, most of the people who've interviewed this Neil guy haven't been as kind to him as the interview room that we were just watching.
Yeah.
So, like the interview room
Man,
that
on
just
and off the whole
they
time.
had him
Angie.
on for an hour and a half, and
Yeah.
they were just like kissing his butt big time.
Yeah.
And no wonder Becky had told him, "I'll go on their show," because
Doing,
they
like, these little podcast shows or whatever.
yeah
Is
that
that
was a
Hidden
little
True
login.
Crime?
Basically. True
The
crime.
one that you
don't
had, the couple. I think
Yeah,
that was. Hidden. I watched some of their stuff from the whatchamacallit, the ones that killed the kids in the.
It was called the interview room.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but look, they clearly were very biased towards the prosecution, extremely.
Yeah.
So yeah, Becky obviously loved them. But even one we watched the other day, you remember the guy, Sal and Jamie with the funny glasses, and he had the cutout lady next to him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Your
yeah.
cat.
Yeah. And we thought that he was being very kind to Neil Gordon, but actually he did then have 3 lawyers on who completely refuted him. So
ripped him apart after.
ripped him apart. Yeah, exactly. So that really, just that interview we saw today was the first one I've seen that was just completely biased in his direction. That said, though, if he were to come into our space and talk to like Vices or Kurt, I think he would be a little bit out of his depth.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him ask some hard questions. But
Really
it's not like he's
questions.
gonna. He only knows what she has said, and she's not gonna make him a witness.
He does only know what she said.
They
Exactly.
just wish somebody would push back on that a little bit and be like, well, you don't really know anything, because he says things like it's factual, and it's like,
he
right, you
does.
don't really know that. You're just hearing
Like Cuomo did with him. Like, well, there's 3 possibilities. Either they know something and they're not talking, or they just weren't around, or
and I believe that too, because I think maybe they weren't. And then he's like, oh no, they all stay together all the time. Like, no, they don't.
But
Clearly,
they didn't.
I mean, they didn't.
That's the thing. Like, at the moment, this Neil guy is not really in any trouble.
No.
Like, all he's doing is selling a book, unless he defames somebody.
Yeah.
Or unless, well, I don't know. I think he's probably in the clear.
Fine. Yeah.
At the moment, yeah. Well, he's got to be a bit careful, though, because if he starts saying someone did something and it's not true and it is defamatory, then he could face a lawsuit.
I think he's being careful about that with some of his wording about like the defense team and things like that.
Yeah, he's not
even with Alex.
Silly. True, even with Alex, yeah. So, anyway, it's been fascinating. But yeah, this thing is just evolving so fast, and I think very shortly we're going to hear a statement from Becky.
Well, we already
and
have. She said she's innocent.
No, I think we're going to hear a longer statement than
Seriously?
that. I think we're going to have her and her attorneys actually get up and do a presser.
Right.
Very
I bought
very
a
soon.
box
That'd
of
be
filters
fantastic.
for my cat for his water fountain, for his water filter. They opened the box. They opened the drawer it was in, went in, opened the box, and pulled out all the freaking sponge filters in it. And they're now scattered all over my room.
I love your cat.
I do too.
I thought you were talking to us. I was like, I bought a box to us. I was like, what are you talking about?
Well, I was telling you the story, but yeah.
Right, yeah, I thought it was like you wanted us to get in the box or something.
Oh, no.
Like, what?
Get in the box!
Yeah, okay. Righto. Yeah, sure. Anyway, so we're going to finish up unless anyone's got anything else to add or anything else you wanted to, any questions?
Live right now.
What?
Somebody can, or I can get her link and post it, and you guys can go over there.
Oh, Matt.
Who?
Mo?
Hang on, Matt just said something. If you're wrapping up soon for daughter duty, I've already done that. Neil's currently live on that YT channel with the cutout one. Oh, really?
Oh.
Really?
Maybe we should. You should save it for your next round of Get Becked.
Well, yeah, but we can all just anyone who feels
or we can
like
stream snipe it for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Could. How do you do that?
I don't even know who he was.
Who is he?
I don't know.
Murph, who is he?
That's Mo's link. She's live now.
Oh, Mo's alive. Okay. Yeah. All right. Anyone who feels like it. Let's go over to Murphy. Surviving the Survivor. Okay. Right. Anyone who feels like it, I might just go over there and ask a couple questions.
Where do babies come from?
Get
I
it.
might even super chat
Get
them.
it, Sal. Get it.
Yeah, that sounds like a bit of fun. And yeah, definitely I'll head over to Mo's Live as well for a little bit. A little bit of grifting time.
Yeah.
Dali, can you please tell me how to full screen people?
I don't want to
still-
make me
No,
big.
no.
No, you don't.
I don't want to embiggen me.
Go ahead. Do your thing.
I am on Dolly Talk. I am covering different trials, including Purse House with EU. Hopefully that'll come back Wednesday. Tomorrow I have some juicy inside details about Mark Jensen.
Nice.
So I'm going to do some more on that. 1:30 my time or 4:30 Eastern. Same time as today for all of you when this started. So 6:30 Australian. So yeah, I'll tell kind of the interactions of the insider with Mark Jensen. They didn't have a ton of interactions because Mark was kind of a dick, but we'll get into that. We'll read some more of his manuscript. There is a tiny chance. There's over like 2,000 exhibits and stuff I can request. I can't request all of them, but I did find going through this 53 pages, his day planner on a CD. I cannot get the actual day planner copied because it's, like, how do you do that? Duplicate it. But if it's been copied and put onto like a CD, that could work. And there's also exhibits, thumb drive, exhibits for computer analyst. So that might be his hard drive that was given to the computer analyst to review. So a tiny chance. I don't know. You don't know till you get it. But maybe we can have some peen action. Just saying.
Gosh, I can't.
It's a slim chance, but you're saying the chance is not zero.
Saying there's a chance.
You're saying there's a chance. And I'm hoping the journal or day planner that's on the CD is the one filled with peens, hand-drawn peens.
Okay, cool.
With like captions.
I was just gonna buy all the stuff.
Well, I got to do it smart because some of it's duplicates and some of it's like just numerous pages when you can find just like a CD for it. So I'm just trying to be really careful. But anyways,
Way to be
yeah.
safe.
Jamie,
You should always be safe with the teens.
I think so. And Feral Housewife has a channel that she posted, and she posted Jamie's Cash App.
Yep, and hopefully there is a new trial starting tomorrow. Cara Rintella and
What is that?
Baker and Mo will be at least hanging out with it. So
yeah, we'll
8:45 I think is what he said he wanted to start tomorrow. So
yeah, Easter.
Yeah, so everybody can join it in the morning.
Okay. What's that about?
Cara?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the lesbians murder each other in California. Or no, Boston.
Not each other.
Massachusetts.
Or not each other. Like one
She's
lesbian.
accused of murdering her wife.
Yeah.
But this is her fourth trial because the first two ended in a hung jury. The third one she was convicted, but evidence came in that shouldn't have, and so it was overturned. So now she's getting trial number 4. Yeah, a paint expert who talked about his personal opinions on paint drying and splatter.
Seriously, who goes to school and be like, I want to be an expert in paint drying?
Well, I mean,
interesting.
As you do.
Very strange. Very strange.
Cool.
Yeah. And
Anyways.
7 p.m. on Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, Wednesday, MLS is back, and he and I are going to do a live Photoshop stream, and we are going to be taking some evidence of some ladies who've had some things done to them, and we're going to be putting the things back in place. Yeah. The things.
Nice.
So maybe some cheeks, maybe some boobies, maybe some backsides. I don't know, but wherever the things that have been taken and put out of place, we're going to try and put them back. Yeah.
Nice.
Anyway, and you might learn a bit of Photoshop along the way, and there's going to be lots of laughs. So me and David, Photoshop.
David and I.
David and I, me and David, David and I, whatever.
Yeah, David and I.
Imagine
Okay.
Sal correcting someone's grammar.
Yeah. And yeah, there's going to be lots of squishing, lots of puckering, lots of bloating, lots of liquefying, lots of cloning and stamping. So join me for that one. I haven't put the stream up yet, but just go to my page. Make sure you turn the little solid bell on, and you'll hear about it. And join the Discord as well. Make sure you get live alerts for all the live streams. Make sure you're there for all of that stuff. Part of the Making More Simple network. Thank you everyone for joining us today. It has been just Beck and hell. It has been, it's been Becked. It's been so Becky Boo. Love you, Boos. And go over to Mo's channel for her live, and make sure that if you want any more, you want to ask Neely Boo any questions, you can always go over to Surviving the Survivor and chuck a little chitty chat, yippee yap, over in the chat there, and see if he'll answer you.
Okay.
If he does, let us know, and we'll cover it in the next episode of What the Beck. Thank you, everybody.
Hey, bye.
Bye.